I'm in between. I'm in between right now, trying to figure out my next move and how to provide for my family, how to feel like a man. What's stopping me? Maybe it's myself. Maybe it's the way of the world, how it's being brought to us, or showed to us. American dream. What's that? I'm just trying to figure out one day at a time. I'm glad, I'm honored to be here speaking to you guys because I haven't spoken to nobody how I'm speaking to you guys now, other than my brother. It's been few people that I spoke to about how I really feel inside and up here. And maybe I should be starting to write down or jotting down some stuff every day to document and journal some stuff so way I can look back at this year or last year and say, look where I started, look where I'm at now to see the growth. You know.
Hey, Vincent, if I may, it takes a lot to speak on mental health and if going through any type of cognitive behavior. But
Yes.
one thing that I would advise you on, I too suffered a lot of mental roughness, and one of the things that we as men, we don't like to seek help, but you have to be very aware that there's nothing physically happening in your brain, because I had to make sure that I didn't have anything mentally wrong with me, not from a mental perspective, but from a chemical imbalance. So what they did
Right.
was they did an MRI in my brain to make sure there was no chemical imbalance. Because if there is a chemical imbalance in your brain, no matter how much you try to deal with it from a mental fortitude and try to break it, you will not be able to. You have to fix that chemical imbalance first before you can handle it from a mental perspective. So I advise you, if you, because you say you had a mental lapse and you don't remember certain things, I think
Mm-hmm.
you should check yourself, make sure that physically there is nothing wrong with you, to make sure that then you can handle it from a mental perspective. Because mental alone is very stressful, and we have to be strong. We have to be, we
Yes.
always want to be on top of stuff. We as men specifically don't want to look for help, and we always feel that there's a challenge. We want to do better for our family, for our children, for our parents, for anything that revolves around us. We have that fortitude where we want to control everything. So don't be so hard on yourself. Make sure you get that help, and then take it from there. Baby steps. Just wanted to put that out there for you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate the information. I'm writing this all down right now, so I appreciate you guys sharing this with me. It means a lot.
Mhm.
The next brother that wants to add to his journey, because he already turning things around. Let add to it.
Um, I'll share some information. One of the items that I mentioned to you all that got me into fitness coaching was the loss of the transition of my brother. My brother becoming an ancestor. Uh, it really impacted me in a way that was just like I said. I gained the 35 pounds, but life became for a period kind of fragile. I had two of my closest friends tell me that they had never seen me like that in all the years that they've known me. And those are people who've known me since I was about probably 7, 8 years old. And I didn't realize what it was. I just thought that I was sad. It wasn't until a friend of mine, Madeline McCrae, the actress who does the one woman play A Dream to Fly about Bessie Coleman, and the publicity guru, Terry Williams, who was very well known. I'm sure you remember Terry, Herm. They were looking to do a 5 borough tour of Terry's latest book at the time, which was called Black Pain. It just looks like we're not hurting, about depression in the black neighborhoods. Now, when I was speaking to them about it, they'd asked me, how did I make the transition into training and fitness coaching? And when I explained to them what I shared with you, Cherry paused and she said, Maddie, do you realize what Dion just said? And what they were saying was that I went through something called episodic depression, which I had never heard of before. Now, of course, I've heard of depression, but I just thought I was simply sad. But they coined it episodic depression. An episode happens in your life that causes you to go into somewhat of a depressive state. And they said, thank God that you did get a life coach. Thank God that you did go and get, as John mentioned, physically checked out. Thank God that you had people around you, a support group that was able to be there for you, and you knew who you were. When I went to the life coach, I went in one day after going to her for about maybe 4 months, 5 months, twice a week. And I said to her, I was really concerned for a lady who would come in after me and a man who would come in before me. I always wanted to make sure I was on time because they looked really, really fragile. Like literally they needed people to come to the appointments with them because people didn't know if they would make it there or if they would not make it back home. And I asked the life coach, I said, you know, Miss So-and-so, how do you do it? How do you take all of our challenges and then process it and then deal with your family at home? And what she said to me, some people would take it a certain way. I took it in a positive. She said, Dion, it's my job to ask the questions and listen, and it's your job to share with me. When she said that to me, I took my pen out of my breast pocket, stepped up, and I said, where's that sheet that I signed so you can get paid? So they know that the insurance company knows that I came. And she said, oh, it's right here. And she handed it to me. I signed it, and I shook her hand, and I said, thank you very much. I left, went to the Brooklyn Promenade, stopped at Haagen-Dazs, got a little sorbet, and I looked over the water in New York Harbor, and I just started thinking and planning the things I was about to go and do. Because I got back on with my life because I remembered what my why was. I had done all the clinical things that I had to do, and now I was psychologically holding myself back. After taking care of the physical, taking care of the mental, I now had to have a meeting with me, myself, and I had to remember what my why was, why I was here, and what my purpose was. And that's when I began to make my transformation forward, because I was able to reconnect myself to myself and activate that melanin memory, that blood memory, that genetic memory, letting me know that because of the ancestors that I literally know that I know, I just have to remember myself.
Or I've even heard it said we have to remember, but definitely. But brother Anthony, please let's continue to build. What can we add?
I would like to add on to what both brothers were saying. It's about transitioning and commitment. It comes within yourself. You have to first put your finger on what do you want, number one, because without that, there is nothing else. So for you to say, okay, some people say they go for help or they did it themselves. I believe it comes within you anyway. They just help you bring it out even more quicker or whatever the case may be. But you have to want it, and it has to be within you. You have to find purpose, and everyone has purpose here. As far as from the Creator himself, you all has a reason for you being here. There's a reason for you being tuned in to Brother Herman's program right now. So whatever the case may be, take in, because this is all positive. And I'm gonna give the floor back to Brother Herman.
Well, Brother Vince, I hope that insight was of benefit. We're going to thank you again for sharing this monumental council panel with us, and hopefully that was helpful. And you're going to pass it on right to the next person to you, and we're going to keep it moving with the questions and answers, and we're going to keep building from here. So the next person, are they there?
Hey, Herm, I don't know if I'm the next person or not.
You are now. Go on with yourself.
Yeah, but you know, I knew Herman since last century, and you know, Anthony, I'm also 66 years old. Okay, and Herman's been keeping me together for a long time, and I had Vincent and his brothers over to Herman when they were really, really young. Vince might have been like 10 years old. So you you see the, just to try to make sure to get them on the right track. And they've been doing pretty well. Matter of fact, the youngest one, he's at a wrestling match right now, but once he's finished, he's going to try to see if he can get on. For myself, it's been a long journey. I also been athletic pretty much all my life. I played football for the United Block Association, dibble and dabble in a little martial arts stuff, but just working out. And Herman was a motivation. I was probably one of his longest clients before the pandemic, right? When the pandemic hit, it just kind of threw everything off, and I gained weight. Normally my weight is around 175. I'm like 5'10" and a half, 5'11". My weight is around 175, 180. I blew up to 210. Herman saw me this summer and he tapped my stomach and said, "What's going on here?" So I'm trying to get that out the way. And I think I may have lost like 5 pounds, but it's very, very challenging. Herman's a real inspiration. I'm a musician. Herman's come to my class a couple of times. Matter of fact, I was a head musician head clinician at the Jazzmobile workshop. So it's gotten a little strange now because I also didn't get the jab. They did the Zoom thing for a minute, and now I'm out. What I do right now is like I put together.
You muted yourself. You're on mute, Stark.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we could hear you.
Yeah. The last thing you said you would put together. That's when you went out.
Okay. I would put together the curriculum, and I also put together a syllabus for them, which they paid me for, and all the clinicians, the other musicians, the great musicians, they kind of miss me. They said, "Man, we wish you were back," because I'm the kind of person who would treat people the way I want to be treated. So when they would get paid, I would pay them up front. They don't have to wait to the end of the day. So I said, "Look, man, I would work better if I had my money in my pocket right now. So I pay you. As soon as you walk in the door, bang, you would get paid, and everybody was really, really happy. And that's important, So at this point, everybody spoke eloquently. I really dug what you were saying. And Vince, thank you for sharing, because I would talk to Vince, and, it seems like right now he's in a rut, he has some friends, and sometimes, we have to leave people alone because they're stopping our movement,
Leave people alone.
our friends, you may have somebody that's close. All right. And I'm sure with all of us, I had some close friends that I had to leave alone because it was stopping my forward progression. It's like if you want to be the best musician, or you want to be the best attorney or physical fitness person, you have to hang out with like minds. You have to, because if you don't, you're not going to get any better. I try to hang out with the best musicians, at least equal or better than me, so I can get information so I can grow. And that's what it's about. Otherwise, what's the point? So we need all of that. So, I'm sure everybody on this panel, you guys are experts of what you do, but you hang out with people that do the same thing that you do to help you be better at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So
there is no saying, Starks, that if you hang out with 6 bums, you'll be the 7th bum.
there
If
you go.
hang out with 8 millionaires, you'll be the 9th millionaire.
Right.
So
Thank you.
Surround yourself with positive energy at all times.
Right. And that's the philosophy. I appreciate that, and just to try to, since Vincent's a young person, trying to get him to work on things like that. Even in the workforce, you should do something. For me, anyway, this is my thinking, something that you enjoy doing, okay? it's not even a monetary thing. We talked about that, but you have to really like doing it. Okay. Otherwise, it's like you're not going to be great at it. People have jobs and they work on their jobs for years and they're miserable. They're miserable. Find something that you like doing, okay, and do it. Work on it, because that's what the joy, the benefit is. You get paid for it. Okay, you like what you're doing and you get paid for it. I'm sure Herman enjoys what he's doing. He gets paid for it. I'm a musician. I taught music, but even in the school system, when people say, well, you're the music teacher, I said, no, I'm not. I'm not the music teacher. I'm a musician that teaches music. It's a difference. You know. So I really appreciate you, brothers. Herman, I hope this thing is over soon, because I need to work on this. You know, it's getting better, because I think about you all the time, and I've been working out. I've been getting out because my doctor's been on my case. I've been walking. The weather's kind of stymied me a little bit, but as soon as this is over, I'll be back in the house.
Okay,
you know?
and Donnell, and you know what? We're going to delve into that a little bit, like you said, for that break, for the COVID, because guys, especially for us that are in this field, that disruption of people's normal, for the folks who were committed, who were into their rhythm, into their gym, into their pool, on their bike, that threw a curve that many never got back into a flow with. Many put on weight systematically throughout that time period. That it takes a real refocus to get back on that path. And it's doubly difficult as we become older athletes.
Right.
The metabolic rate is slowing down. Whatever decade you're in, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, as you progress up that chart, there are things naturally working against you. The drop of our testosterone level becomes a factor in whether you maintain a certain level of muscle mass. So there's so many things vital related to our rest, related to our nutrition. That's why I want to get brother Val back in. We got to put it all together to stay on this journey as we get if you're blessed to get to the 50, the 60, the 70, you want to make sure your A game is there to make those decades beyond that ones of comfort and not ones where your body is working against you at a time when it should be serving you at its best. So brother Val, can you chime in a little with that?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll chime in a little bit with that. What I like to discuss, no matter what I discuss on the Health Talk, I like to give the 5 underlining things for either the 5 underlining sicknesses, the 5 underlining factors for sickness and disease. These 5 underlining factors are: number 1 is dehydration. We don't drink enough water. That's important. We need to drink water, and more water. We basically substitute water for soda, juice, shakes, and diet soda, coffee, tea, and everything else. Nothing can replace water. Water is extremely important. Your body, every functioning of your body needs water. Matter of fact, I did write out some stuff. I want to make sure that I list it, so I don't want to belabor the point, but I need to make these points because these are crucially important to your overall health. Hydration, the proper water intake, drinking enough water every day is crucial. I would say the maximum amount of water you should drink is half your body's weight in water. So if you're 300 pounds, you should be drinking 150 ounces, not pounds, ounces in water, because water is sold by the ounces. So we're going to do ounces, not pounds. I don't want you to think that you got to drink that much water. So it's by ounces. Half your body's weight in water in ounces. You know how you go there, you got 16 ounces, 32 ounces, 52 ounces, so forth and so on. So it's half your body's weight in water. Right now, I'm about 200 pounds. So I have to, every day, I should be drinking at least 100 ounces of water every day. I know if I'm doing that, I'm properly hydrated. And the hydration is really important because blood plasma is 90% water and makes up half of your total blood plasma. So if you're not drinking water, I don't know if you ever noticed when you go to the doctor and they're taking blood and the blood comes out slow, they're like, oh, your blood is really slow today. They even suggest, why don't you drink some water here? So this way it'll speed up the process of the blood flow. That's crucially important. Water is important for the temperature, to regulate the temperature in the body. Your brain sits in water. Okay, your brain sits in your skull, but in your skull is water. Okay, so you need water to function on brain level. The water lubricates your whole system and body. Water flushes out the detox, the toxins and the bad bacteria. That's what urination is. You need water for everything. So that's the number one factors for all sickness and dehydration. Number two is constipation. And constipation comes from not a poor diet. That's number three, poor diet. In other words, you're not eating enough roughage. You're not eating enough fruits and vegetables. If you're eating fruits and vegetables every day, you would have an elimination at least twice a day. But if we're eating pizza, if we're eating pasta, if we're eating macaroni and cheese, these are clogging foods that bind together in the colon. So when you go to do the elimination process, it's a strain. You're on the toilet longer than you should be, and that's what that strain produces, hemorrhoids. So you must eat fruits and vegetables every day. Green leafy vegetables are like a broom, like you sweep your home with a broom before you mop it. That's what green vegetation is. That's what fruits are. That's what the apple is. It sweeps your colon so you can eliminate and move your bowels, and you will feel better because now you got the toxicity and the bad portion of the food that you ate, or the residue of the food that you ate, has been removed from your colon. So you should feel better. That's important. The other one is sleep deprivation. We're not getting enough sleep. We're always moving. We're always running. We don't live in a 24-hour cycle. We live in a 26-hour cycle. We're getting 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. If we had the ability, how you charge up your computer or your cell phone, and it tells you, oh, you at 50%, you at 75%, you at 80%. If we were able to get up out the bed in the morning and charge ourselves up, it would say, you at 60%, man. You had 3 hours of sleep. You're not at 100%. So now what I'm saying is, you're doing what you're doing, not at optimum level. You're forcing your body to work basically in overdrive in order to get these things done. And when you get home, you want to fall out and go to sleep after you eat. And then on top of that, you're not eating the right food. So I'm gonna move on because I want somebody else to be able to go. But the other thing is what Herman Specialized Fitness has been doing for 35 years, the lack of exercise. We're not moving. Movement is exercise. It doesn't have to be extreme bodybuilding. It doesn't have to be a professional basketball player or football player. If you're into that, that's fine. But the body is designed to move, not sit stationary for 8 hours a day, for 10 hours a day. You're supposed to walk, you're supposed to run, you're supposed to move, you're supposed to stretch, and that's important. It's important for the heart. You need that cardiovascular, that in and out, that heartbeat, pumping blood, because what it does is the food that you ate, that's nutrition. That's nutrition. Once the heart begins to pick up and beat, now the blood is beginning to circulate throughout the whole body. So now the organs, the liver, the kidney, the heart, the spleen, the pancreas is going to your baby. Now what you're doing, all those nutrients that's in the blood, now you're hitting those major organs. And this is why, if you notice, sometimes you work out, you feel invigorated after the workout. You say, man, I feel good. Because what you actually did was you gave more life to your body, because you hit those major organs that gives life to the body. If you have the proper nutrients in your blood, which is fruits and vegetables in the perfect diet, or a good diet, as opposed to sugary processed foods. That stuff is going to lead you down a path to constipation. Okay, and you don't want that. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. Hopefully I added something to that, Brother Herman. I think it's always good to start there, because that is the like I said, the 5 underlying conditions. So what you usually do is, if I tell you that those are the 5 underlying conditions to sickness and disease, what you do is you reverse it. So if you know dehydration is one, then you stay hydrated. If you know constipation is one, then you have to have the proper elimination. If you know sleep deprivation is one, you have to get the adequate sleep. If you know it's a poor diet, you have to get those fruits and those vegetables in there. And then if you know it's lack of exercise, you know I got to move. Walk 2 miles a day, walk 45 minutes, 35. That's important. All right. Sorry if I went over, guys.
No, that was good. And Brother Dion, I definitely want to get your thoughts. But Brother Val, one little part of that jumped out of me because there's something I say a lot too. Movement is medicine.
Yes.
Movement is medicine, and we forget that. And the other old one, use it or lose it, especially as we're becoming older athletes. Now, and brother, hopefully, Brother Umar will be popping in. He kind of coined the school to prison pop line. How this system was taking our young people and just channel them into our prisons. In health, I had identified another pipeline. I call it the cane to walker to wheelchair pipeline. The cane to walker to wheelchair. Hey, is when you are no longer able to ambulate. Now, a cane is, of course, something, if there was an injury, a sprain, or something you're recovering from, you are going to have to distribute your weight in a way that cane is helpful. But after you've recovered, you should be back on your 2 legs navigating. But if you stay with that cane and not progress back to your 2 legs, and then that cane, after a period of time, is no longer able to stabilize you. Now you need to be stabilized on both hands. So you've gone from a cane to now a walker. Now your legs through ambulation are not doing a good enough job to do that on its own. And you stay at that level without taking a step back. The walker will no longer do it for you. Now you have to be seated without the muscular strength in your legs. Now you have to use other means to move yourself forward. So you don't want to be on that pipeline either. But Brother Dion, definitely add on to that. And
Yes,
whatever
I do want to mention something based on what you said. And I'm glad you mentioned that cane to walker to wheelchair, or not even, they even got the scooters now. And when you see people, because I'm always in Harlem, I live in Harlem, I'm a Harlem resident, and I see people with a cane, with a walker, with a scooter, and it seems as though they have settled there. Like they're satisfied being there. Like they say, okay, good, I can go out now because I have my walker, as opposed to I want to get away from this walker. I don't want this walker. I don't want this cane. And to me, that's the most hurtful part, because they have developed basically they're satisfied at that particular station in life. And they say to not everybody, but I do want to say it seems as though they have the attitude of, this is where I'm at and I'm okay with it, as long as I can sit down wherever I go, as opposed to standing on my own 2 feet. And that part is crucial, because what that does is, like you said, it stops the movement of your overall health. And then it's going to lead to what you said is actually the wheelchair. And then from the wheelchair, you lose the use of your limbs because you're not using them. And then, especially if you have sugar diabetes or hypertension, because now it starts the amputation process. And next, a foot is off and a leg is off. What I'm saying, it's a progression. It's a progression. So that's crucially important. We have to continue to move, and as long as we can, we should do so, because it's important for our overall health.
Yes, I should. Brother Ashford?
I agree with everything here that's been said, wholeheartedly, without a doubt, 100%. I also look at mindset.
Yes.
When you get your sleep, you really want to get good sleep the night before you are going to work out, say in the morning. If you're going to work out the next day, period, you want to make sure that you get good sleep, because 85% of what you do in a day, or what you accomplish in a day, is going to be directly related to your daily psychology. So how you awaken in the morning is going to have a great deal in dictating what you get accomplished that day. What I've been able to do with my clients and also with myself is I looked at eliminating lactose, the cow's milk. I looked at eliminating the carbonic acid, the red meat, or limiting it. And I'm vegan, but I don't, try to make my clients vegan. If they end up going vegan or getting close to that the right way, all the better. And the uric acid in the starch, and replace that. We always say what you can't do, but you also want to let people know what they can do. And you look at the iodides and the bromides, the phosphates and carbonates, which are just food vitalizers for the body, found in most of your green vegetables and in your sea moss. So we look at that, we put that in there, and the lactose is the cow's milk. Like, I really don't understand. I never understood it when I was younger. I didn't know why I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why we gave the secretion of another mammal to our offspring, because they promote the narrative is milk does a body good, but or milk is a natural. Yeah, it's a natural. It's a natural for calves, for the offspring of a cow. The natural for our children would be their mom's breast milk.
Breast milk.
So you know, I, we have the highest cases of osteoporosis in this country. The carbonic acid, the red meat, the uric acid is your starch. I stuck more with baked sweet potato, wild rice, organic black rice, organic brown rice, those kinds of foods. Try to get foods that just grow naturally from the earth. And the more we did that, the more we found good results, along with the exercise, along with half your body weight in water. This really made a lot of sense. And that's how we began to see that. But mindset was so key. Mindset, like when you know what your why is, and you know that this is something that you're committed to, when your most valuable asset is your health, followed by time, followed by your ability to communicate. And it could be a foreign language, it could be another language, it could be sign language, and then your spirituality. When you put all of that together, I share with my clients, you can get your grind on and your hustle on anywhere on the planet when you have that in tow, and you're good to go.
Hey guys, if I may add, the general population are fearful when they hear diet. They don't want to stop eating their good foods. When they hear they need to exercise. At 57 years of age, I have a lot of people who obviously are in my circle or my age, and they say, well, I'm too old to work out. And I always have a rebuttal for them. I say, no, you're too old not to work out. Because if you stop movement, even if you're just walking, anything that you're doing, if you stop doing it, you lose those motor skills. And so what I try to explain to a lot of the folks, I'm not an expert, but I've been in the weightlifting, bodybuilding, fitness for over 40 years. People say, well, how do you stay in shape? And I say, it's not that I am motivated to do this, because getting under the weights and lifting weights and exercising, it's not something I do because I'm motivated. It's the discipline that you need to have. And one of the things I try to inspire to other folks, it's say, don't look at it as diet. Just start moving. All of that will fall into place, because as you see yourself progressing, you'll say, wow, I look better. I look in the mirror. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. It could just be you're losing weight or you're gaining weight, because another misconception that we have is that everyone wants to lose weight. But there's a lot of folks who are very thin who say, how do I gain weight? Where's the topics on how do I gain weight? But because the majority of folks are obese, everything is geared towards losing weight. But we have to broaden our perspective, because no one is the same. And so what I try to instill in folks is just start. Don't use the word diet, because it's going to scare you away. But as you progressively start going to the gym, you start walking, riding a bike, getting fresh air, then you start with the food. And don't look at it as diet, but look at it as a nutritional value, because whatever you're putting into your body is what comes out. Everything you eat is going to expose in your body, no matter how the other gentleman who's just saying you need water, right? If you don't eat enough, you're going to start looking older, right? Because now you don't have that dehydration. Your face is not getting filled in. So water is extremely important. But when we speak amongst this panel, who most people know what it is to train, it's easy for us to understand that. But when you speak to folks who are not interested in working out, who are not interested in going to a diet, but yet they want the actual value that comes out of it, they say, well, how do you get there? And when you tell them what they need to do, but, oh, I don't got time to do all of that. So that's why you have to sort of explain it to them on a slow, consistent balance. Baby steps. Start walking, start riding a bike, Maybe go to the gym, look around, see what other people are doing, and then work on your nutritional value. Don't look at it as diet. I think the word diet scares everyone away. I just wanted to put that sense into this conversation as well.
And Ronnie, we're going, Veronica, we're going to bring a few other folks. Let's see how many we can get in. The folks have been waiting so patiently. I want to make sure we can get to as many people as possible, because part of what I want to do in acknowledging my 35th year is do what I started my first year. Try my best to reach as many people as I could with a message of health and wellness. So if someone got that link somehow and they got a question about health, about fitness, about motivation, about anxiety, about stress, about depression, we're able to cover all those in this space. So if you can open the floodgates and just let them come in. Now, guys, we've been doing great. One mic, everyone has been great. New folks coming in, we're going to keep that same flow. Whoever's speaking, they have the floor.
Yes. How's everybody doing?
Peace, peace.
Peace. You know, you guys are looking real great right now, man. Looking real noble, and I definitely appreciate the energy and the nature of the conversation. Brother Dion said something that I wrote down. He said 80% of what we do is based on our daily psychology. Now, what we're talking about now is the end results 30, 40 years later of lack of exercise and bad dieting. But the origin is also should also be considered, because we are fed false concepts of a nutritional diet, especially as men. And one of the first false concepts that we take on is that we hear that as a man, we're supposed to endure pain. And this is what makes us manly and makes us tough, whatever slang term we want to give it, thug, killer, gangster, etc., etc. But what happens with that concept of us enduring pain, we are not allowed to be human and express the things that are necessary so that we may make better decisions as we develop into manhood. And in that decision, we end up not going to see doctors because that's cramping our hardcore style. See? So now we end up sick based on the origin of the false concept that was fed to us about being men. And this permeates our community. You know, you're supposed to be able to take the suffering, take the pain because you're stronger. However, let me add on to what Brother Val was talking about. Because he said a lot, and all of you are saying a whole lot here. I wrote down everything he said, along with Brother Dion here. That blood plasma, the water, how it regulates the temperature of the body. I never knew that when you go to the doctor and they want to get some urine. So I understand certain basic things, right? You got to get urine, go pee in the cup. But something just happened recently, and I was going to the doctor. And when you go to put your temperature on the thing that they got now, before they let you into the premise, their machine wasn't working well. But one of the gentlemen said, just drink a little bit of water. It's going to change. And sure enough, it did. Now, he just said that just now, okay? So these are key points, and this is why this Zoom call is of great value, because you never know what you're going to hear that's going to educate and inform you, all right? And another thing I want to lay to rest is this. We are in the process of cleaning up our image as brothers, because we have not had control of our image for a long time in this country. And the fact that we are on this call, as small as it may seem, it is massive in scope because of what it's doing.
Okay.
So we want to lay to rest that brothers don't go to the doctor. We don't want to add on and repeat the psychological destruction that has been falsely indoctrinated in us by outside impediment forces. because that don't help us to clean up the mess that someone else made. See, we are the victims of bad health. We didn't ask for this. And if it didn't come from poverty or the Food and Drug Administration, who I call the food mafia, we might be as a nation in better health and shape today. When we teenagers, we can take on the burden of a double cheeseburger. We can deal with White Castles. You know what I mean? Them cheesy, greasy beef burgers. Y'all know what I'm talking about there. We can take that on. But as 25 and 30 rolls around, the sisters realize they can't jump and double dutch the way they used to. And we can't run full court basketball the way we used to. Because our youth is no longer on our side because it's decaying due to oral consumption of chemical and biological warfare. And we are the victims of this. We don't have the farms. We're not growing crops. So we all go into fine fair associates and all these various so-called supermarkets, and they super all right, super terrible, because the chemical and biological warfare that we putting in pots and pans is having a negative effect on us. And yes, we are coming up short on the water department. Dehydration is major with us. Very seldom do you see the majority of us with a bottle of water in their hand. And even the water, if we got it, we got to check the alkalinity on that. Because that's being watered down with all types of chemical and biological warfare to make it look like it's clean and healthy. So I used to work for Poland Spring Water. That's some of the worst water on earth. Nestle Ready Refresh is garbage. From time to time, if we got to guzzle a little here and there, okay. But that shouldn't be the daily intake preferable for water. So responsibility is on us. And Brother Herman Smalls, man, thank you for putting this forum together. I appreciate it. I really do, man. And thank you for inviting me to the forum, because I like to see brothers standing up, standing tall and looking good. Because as far as someone else is concerned, you should be out smoking weed right now, having some K2, enjoying some hard liquor. You know what I'm saying? Get you some rum and coke, man. Drink a little, ain't gonna hurt you none. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about health. And in order to be, and by the way, health is revolutionary. It is a concept of revolutionary tactics. All of our ancestors dealt with it in the ancient of days. We are striving to reconnect with that system in contemporary times. So everything that we eat and drink must be revolutionary. Because if you're sick, you can't be here to help, aid, and assist your community if you're dying. They're having problems right now in the Ukraine. We know what's going on in the world. They were from age 18 to 60 to stay in the country to fight off the invaders. Well, them people over there, they didn't plan for this, but those guys who are 50 and 60, maybe 45, they gotta do what they gotta do now. Who knows how they've been living for the last 25 years?
Exactly. And we don't know what demands ever are going to be on us based on societal shifts. So being at your best condition is always going to be an ace in the hole under any conditions.
That's
but
right.
brother, you've shared so many jewels. And again, we want to get as many folks in as possible.
Thank you.
So you're going to just keep passing that mic. And if there's a specific question in a specific area, please, the next person that comes up, please share it. Or if you got a testimony, we're taking testimonies too, because we can learn from that as well. So definitely the next person.
Brother Herman, I just want to make one quick comment on what the brother said in reference to when he puts his, when he went to, I guess, a health facility, and he put his head and it registered, I guess, the thermometer or the temperature is supposed to register his temperature. We shouldn't allow them to put the temperature gun or the temperature meter to our forehead or to our forehead. We have a pineal gland inside of our brain area. Always put up your wrist. It's the same thing. It'll read the same temperature. It'll read the same size. Never give them your head when you submit to a restaurant or to a gym or to whatever place you go to, and they say, let me take your temperature. They was doing that early on. Never submit your head to it. Always submit your wrist to it. It's going to take the same temperature. You can get it right here. All you got to do is do this. and it'll read the temperature. And if they say no, if they don't, sometimes those who operate that machine don't understand that. They said, you just explain to them, no, it'll read the same temperature. Take it at the wrist, please. Please do not point that at my forehead. And they will do that. Okay, that's for, for general knowledge for everybody on the line. So we won't keep submitting to that because we shouldn't.
Excellent suggestion.
And if I may, I just want to thank Herman. I've known Herman for over, I think, 40 years, but I definitely want to thank him to put this panel together, because social media glorifies what the other gentleman was just saying, drinking. I'm going to have a Henny. I'm going to smoke some weed. And that is glorified. Very few fitness is being glorified. And we're getting smaller and smaller. So when a person like Herman just brings this out, and again, I'm honored to you allowed me to speak on this panel today. We need to broaden that out, right? And continue letting people know that, fitness is going to propel you when you're older, and you're going to live a more fruitful life when you're in shape or you're more healthier, whether it be from your nutritional value or your physical aspect of it. And all that other stuff that social media has been glorifying, and it is really getting insane. I don't know if you guys look at TikTok or if you look at Facebook, but they glorify, drinking and smoking and hanging out and twerking and women degrading themselves and showing more physical appearance because they want to get more likes and more followers. But little by little, the fitness industry is coming back. So Herman, I really, really want to take the time out to thank you to say, you getting this going and having these panels is going to project and propel further into knowing that fitness is definitely should be part of everyone's life in whatever shape or form. It doesn't have to be weightlifting, but just physical attributes, and staying away from the drinking and the smoking of the weed and the drinking of the water and eating that nutritional value. So thank you, Herman. Really, thank you.
Oh, thank you, John. And again, staying away from it, and people lose sight. It's a level of self-medication. Now, nicotine, alcohol, weed, the hardest stuff, people are trying to self-medicate. Again, mental health, stress. If you don't have positive ways to deal with the thing, you're going to try to self-medicate. You're going to get that bottle. You're going to get all food, because once it gets into your system, that's a chemical change as well. Sugar, the sugar molecule, you put a crack molecule next to a sugar molecule, a shovel, you couldn't tell them the difference, but one or two are fractions. So we are dealing with things that we are actually getting addicted to. So there's so much in that we have to be mindful of as we're trying to go down this journey of health. There's so many side roads that if you're not clear.
Brother Herman.
Brother Jones, go right ahead.
Yes, I would like to add to that. That's all positive. I know they think that weed is the way today. They say, oh, it's legal now. But let me tell you something. They don't give us nothing for nothing. And basically the drinking, the nicotine and all that, we only got our own selves, our body parts. Our body parts are like, let's say, car parts. But you can't just get them like you would go to an automobile mechanic store or someplace to get them fixed. You can, but it's going to cost you. And then a lot of times we as people or people of color cannot get the body parts for the prices to stay alive. All they're doing is put into the pot to get rid of us. You got to get to a certain age. You want to reach certain places in your lifetime. Well, you're going to have to sacrifice something. The drugs for life. It's all up to you, people.
Ashe. And I just got a message in the chat from our navigator, Veronica Kitt. She says that the rooms are packed and people are vetting. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to shift to the folks that are waiting to get in. Now, Veronica, if you can either, I don't know if you can put a limit on it, but we want to get as many people as possible. So maybe a 2-3 minute. But and the folks who are now coming, and I know, boy, 2-3 minutes, and these stories are so priceless. Maybe 5. We'll just contain it in a way that we can get the jewel and then have other jewels come in with the other folks. So we're going to get the folks that are waiting to come in. Let us either know what we can get to you, and we may not get everyone an opportunity to speak on it. You might get one or two. Just get the person that you most want to address that issue. And brothers, if something is on your heart, say it. So all these rules go right out the window. If you got to say something, say, Herman, stop the show. I got to drop this. Do it. But we're going to try our best to get as many folks in. So Veronica, just start letting folks in, and just the next person in, just share your thoughts.
Okay, Herman, I just want to say our next person is Jason Gamble, and then Keith will follow.
Excellent.
Thank you.
How you gentlemen doing? I actually was invited by my brother, Dion Ashman. You know, we have several sayings. One of the things I was actually going to sit back and just listen, because just like we upgrade the software on our phone all the time, every once in a while, you just got to upgrade your mental software. I'm used to being the guy that's talking instead of the guy that just sits back and listens. But, you know, I felt the need to share testimony because there's several brothers that have shared the fact that they had to make certain changes as far as the employment and stuff because of not wanting to be vaccinated. I find myself in that exact same situation. You know, I was employed making, you know, nice 6-figure salary, and I left that for a startup company, only for 5 months later, the startup company to turn around and say they're in financial duress and let everybody go on MLK Day, no less. And then, my birthday was, turned 43. My birthday was January 27th. And the day before my birthday, my car was stolen from the dealership. And so I sit there and I was just like, you know, I laugh about certain things, but really I start to think about it. And I'm like, all this stuff causes stress, because my lady used to say, man, you could sleep through a tornado. You go to sleep at the drop of a dime. You love your sleep. And lately, I've been checking my Fitbit, and I haven't been getting enough sleep. I've been getting like 6 hours here, 6 hours there, but it was happening for a while. I didn't think about it until Brother Ashman and I, we were in Kemet. We went to Egypt in December, and there was a moment when we were sitting on a bus, and I was a little bit tired. You know, it's a time difference or whatever, but I was literally almost sitting up, and I was snoring. And he goes, and Dion's like, "What's going on with you?" And I'm like, I'm tired, man. And he's like, "Look, you out of shape right now, and you're belligerent." And I'm like, "I'm out of shape." Yeah. And I look and I'm like, my 6-pack has turned into a keg. And I'm like, well, I'm getting older. He's like, I'm much older than you, bro. And I'm like, oh man, you know what? It's good to be on this and to see brothers with like, I forget the brother's name, but he has a sweatshirt on that says, "Never stop lifting when you get old." John Montalvo.
Right.
I want that t-shirt. That's true. I've been an athlete my whole life, and you know, I let myself go. You know, when your 6-pack turns into a keg, it's time to get your shit in shape. Mm-hmm. And your true friends are not good. They're gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, right? So Dion gave me the speech. He said, "Listen, there's several things I want to talk to you about. One of them is that visceral fat you got growing because you sat down, and I've never seen you like this. Your belly is hanging over." And I'm like, well, hell, my belly is hanging over. And then we go back to the room, and my lady, she's rubbing my stomach. And I said, oh my gosh, this is not me. So, so in my mind, I said, you know what? When I get back, I got to get fanatical about it. I really got to get my butt in the gym. I got to stay in there. And, you know, Dion has a great saying, because I'm like, man, you know, I got to get consistent. And he's just like, well, you are consistent. The problem is you're consistently inconsistent. And I was like, well, damn. You know, you got a point, brother. I gotta get in the gym, and because there's no excuse now. And I gotta be honest, you know, the last almost 3 years has been really hard with this COVID thing. You know, I'm a very social person, used to going out, used to be in a company of good people. I used to be at Dion's house all the time. I can't remember the last time I've been over your crib, brother. And you know, for safety, you don't want to be around certain people. I go see my parents, haven't seen my grandma forever. That's hurtful. And I start to think, man, who else is going through this stuff? You know, unless you open up and you have the conversations, you really don't get a chance to like build and heal from that, because there's going to be a healing period whenever this situation ends. And for me, one of the things I'm also doing is changing my mentality, never go back to the plantation, because I need to, you know, there's several brothers who know me, and they know I've always had side hustles and stuff. And I've got a lot of money saved in a bank where I could go, you know, a year and a half without working. But should I? No. Should I have a mindset of working for somebody else, or should I just be on the move to start multiple companies and just do my own thing? Because, you know, there is a, you know, I've always said, you know, the highest mentality we can have is to free our minds. And it's, and to a degree, I start to realize that I'm stuck in a trap too, because, you know, when people start waving that 6-figure salary in front of you and stuff, I since day one, I was like, I'm not getting vaccinated. I find myself struggling with that now. Like, wait a minute, should I sit home when I know that in a week or two, I could go back to having a job that's paying really well? Or should I take the time out, build my own business, do my own thing that starts a legacy that I can pass on to other people, you know, and my family, you know, when I have my own kids, pass that on. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So I know a lot of you brothers can relate. I know many of you are self-employed. What inspired me to speak was this brother, I want to say his name is Vincent. He was talking about the situation with the jab. And I was just like, yeah, you are not alone. You are not alone. We need to have forums, and we need to talk to each other and figure out how we all could get off the plantation, because our people are suffering more than anybody else with this. Because when they say you got to take the jab, and it's like, you got to pay your bills, you got to, you know, pay your car note, pay whatever it is. Not everybody has it where, you know, they can even go a month without working. So I want to figure out how to free my life so I never have anybody that tells me, like, I'm your boss, I can fire you, or you need to put this in your body. I don't want to answer to nobody ever again. You know? But
I mean, if brother, just to jump in a little with, I mean, look at that kind of choice, man. You got to let this go into your body if you're going to work here. Your body doesn't even, you can't even draw a line at what goes in your body. What kind of society is that? And guys, and I don't even, because it's such a sensitive to so many people, and I respect anyone who makes an intelligent choice, and even under the conditions of survival. Brothers or sisters are choosing to get it to pay their mortgage. You have to, in many instances, if that employment is a difference between your whole family being homeless. So people are being forced into a corner. This is one of my second or third Zooms. One of my earliest Zooms I did on that topic. Guess what? It was up about 12 hours, man. And they took it down. You can't even say certain things. And this is a free society, right? You gotta mask the name of it. You can't even speak it on certain social medias, or it is yanked. There's something they're doing behind this. It's just, I have never been comfortable about it from the moment they started pushing it. The $100 for it, get a gift, get a they was paying your college tuition to get a shot. What medication have they ever promoted like this? So there are things going on. And again, I know that many of you are being forced into positions, and I don't want to add any additional burden to that choice. But look at your resources, look where you are in your life, and be careful about the decision you make about allowing these different things to go into your system. Anybody else can add into that, and definitely let some of those new folks inside the room. Anybody wanted to comment?
Well, Brother Herm, that right there that you just spoke to, and what Jason spoke to, what Vincent spoke to, what everybody here has been speaking to, it makes these conversations here with this Zoom that you've organized all the more important, because there are some spaces that folks on this call can't speak the way they can speak here. So now this actually becomes a support group, if you will, because we are now living effectively, and Brother Jason and I have talked about this time and time again, we are now living in a vaccinated culture. And it's dividing a good deal of people when we have a situation where we need to be closer together. I think it was Brother Lee Bay that said how we need to be together. Well, we need to be together. So that makes this platform here all the more important, so that we can not discriminate against our brothers and sisters who may have taken the jab, but to be together so we can literally just bounce off of each other and support each other. Because I know, like Jason and I, in getting ready to go to Kemet, one of the reasons why we went when we went back in December was because we didn't have to be vaccinated. We didn't have to be vaccinated. You had to have your test, a negative test, 48 hours before you left, and you had to have a negative test 24 hours before you returned. So that's why we went. And I had several people that I know that go back and forth to Ghana, and they weren't getting vaccinated. They didn't have to be vaccinated either. So this group here is ultra important because it provides support to everybody here, whether vaccinated or not. Because Lord knows, I know just as many people who are vaccinated that didn't want to get vaccinated, but because of circumstances had to, and they need an outlet.
Sure. I say. And brother Keith, I know you've been holding on a moment. You want to contribute to that topic, or you had another one?
Jesus goodness. I mean, my head is spinning, Herm. My head is spinning. Jesus. Okay, so where do Herman, you know that I can sometimes go off, but like the other brother said, I had all intention of just sitting here and being a fly on the wall, because somebody told me that you need to learn to listen, and you got to listen in order to learn. 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them appropriately. But old habits are hard to break. So what I did was I decided to write some notes of the stuff that I wanted to cover. If I don't cover it all, no big deal. But the first question I like to ask is this: when's the next forum, Herm? Let's get that out here, man. Because am I right? Am I right, everybody?
Yes,
Herm,
100%.
Right.
Because like right now, I got burning desires, unlike the ones I used to have. I'll just put that right there and leave that right there. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, they know. If they don't, then they don't. I got burning desires, and I'm not going to be able to accomplish it all, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, because the pearls that I got in here, to me, is more valuable than the pearls that I'm going to put out of here. I'm not trying to be selfish, but when's the next one, Herm? You ain't got to answer now, but you got to have another one.
I tell you, the people will they will demand it. I'm going to listen to the comments once we put this up. And just
no. We don't demand it. We're commanding it.
Oh!
There's no demand. Understand, brother. When you trained me, you taught me well. I'm not demanding anything, and we collectively, I think I safely speak for the group, we're not demanding anything, but we are commanding you.
Respect.
Do this.
Respect. Okay, so I can be a little bit of a troublemaker sometimes in a good way, but I had to get that out, because the first one I was on with you, I listened and I couldn't wait. So, okay, so here I go. Keith Williams, I call myself Keith Harlem Homegrown, born and raised, 129th between 5th and Lenox. Anybody know that block back in the day? That was an infamous block. Glad I survived. Glad I survived. And I want to preface what I'm about to say with something else somebody told me that's very wise, especially when I'm talking to people that don't know me. The only thing I know beyond a shadow of a doubt is that there's nothing I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. So all I'm expressing is things that I have processed and formulated a perspective of. I hope that worked out. Okay, so we got the next. Okay, I was invited by Miss Isma Pesson. She always tells me about things that she knows would be phenomenal, and I follow her lead. But it wasn't until I saw that it was your post I said, okay, I blocked everything. I got to be there.
Respect.
Yes, and I first met Mr. Smalls through my ace boom. And I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm not going to the third world because I don't go for that no more. My ace boom Y'all be careful. Y'all laugh at my jokes, man. I'd be here all night. So, Mr. Herman, I was grateful to meet you then. I think you remember that experience with Deborah. Okay.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yes.
Respect,
Okay.
respect.
And that's my first. His name is James Lando. I hope he's on because I sent it to him. So if he's not, Herman, we're going to both get him because he knows about it.
Exactly.
Peace. So let me speed this up a little bit in the interest of getting more drums in my own ear. When I met Mr. Smalls, every time I see him, I'd proceed to like get up on him, play him close, bombard him with what I wanted to talk about. Luckily for me, he never swung on me, and I'm persistent. When I'm passionate, it's just that's the way it is. So I'm grateful for that. Boom. So to the brother feeling that he's having a mental situation, which is actually more brothers than spoke about it. He's just the one that spoke about it. Because like that other brother said, many of us are leaving life with quiet desperation. We just don't want to talk about it. We just don't want nobody to know about it. We say, how you doing? I'm great. I'm fine. I have had experiences that I am now grateful for, no longer ashamed of, because I realized that I fortunately, I survived long enough to process it properly. So let me just throw this out and hope that it works. With the correct mindset, when you're having them little doubts and them little things that's making you wonder, where do I go? What do I do? What the hell is wrong? First of all, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. And I learned that when I was defeating my own self-imposed demons that I had for 20 years. There's nothing wrong with you. We are all seeking the same thing. We want to feel good. But how do you, what path do you take to feeling good? Because if you can't find it the way that's healthy to find it, you're gonna find it. So to the brother who said that, maybe it's your inner being, or maybe it's the universe saying, hey, talk to me. Come spend some time with me. Not with all those other people, all them other noises, all them other commercials, all them other distractions that's out there. Maybe it's saying, hey, spend some time with me. We're gonna work this out. So that came to me while you was talking. I just wanted to offer that to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, my brother. Thank you for hearing it. In terms of fitness, health, maybe I didn't raise no real eyebrows growing up in 129th Street. It was kind of hard for anybody to applaud you for anything when I grew up. I mean, people want to squash you before they want to uplift you. So maybe I didn't raise no real eyebrows, but I went into the Army and I discovered that I had something. Because one thing, when I was getting picked on the court, on the team, I got picked on hustle. I didn't shoot that great. I didn't hit that hard on the court. I never, ever surrendered, which is why I'm still here with my own self-imposed. I don't care how far I'm down and back, how far down I am. But into the Army, and this is not a Keith Williams testimony. I'm trying to give some pearls while I'm doing this. I went into the Army at 21 years old, and I was the second in the company at the first physical training test out of 225 people, and most of them was younger than me. And then I thought I had something. Well, I did have something. And I took up fitness. I took up long distance running, which I hated on track teams. I hated long distance running. Too boring. But I had a propensity, and I completed something which I thought was great, which was like either 8 7-minute miles or 7 8-minute miles across country, hungover with 2 hours worth of sleep. Because somebody hijacked me and said, I promised. Come on, Sergeant Williams. So he hijacked me. He asked me to go ride him out there. And when I rode him out there, I said, I ain't got no equipment. And he had a set of equipment and shoes in the trunk. So he set me up. But ever since then, I decided to become a marathoner. And I've done several New York City marathons. So there's something in there. Maybe not quite on the level of some of the people on here, but there's something in there. And I exercise every single day, no matter what. And I'm always on a bike. As far as biology and nutrition, I was introduced by the Shepherd family of the Shepherd Foundation. Some of you that's been in Harlem for a while may have heard of the Shepherd Foundation on 132nd Street. It was the first of its type to introduce people to alternative health practices and nutrition. And they had some really noteworthy people that got down with them. Dick Gregory, Isaac Hayes, Governor Patterson, not just the name drop, but I mean, they really were going somewhere. It's not here anymore. But I hated biology and nutrition when I was in school, but that was my introduction. And it took hold with me, especially after I came out of my self-imposed thing. But the rest of it has been on the entrepreneurial side. There's some things, Herman knows about a few of them, that has taught me, man, aside from time, the most valuable thing, which you never possess time anyway, so it's not a possession, it is your health. And that health is threefold: mental, physical, and spiritual. The mind may tell the body what to do, but the spirit rules it all. I meditate every single day. I go to sleep listening to stuff because I know that you got to worry about the energies outside trying to defeat you, but you ain't got no bigger enemy than whatever's inside there that you haven't resolved. So I meditate every day. I get that quiet time. I talk to me. And I saw something on Facebook that said, by William Knight, he said, I put up positive, motivational stuff every day, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I don't have all the answers. And I go to bed many times wondering, did I do the best I could that day? And I look over the things that I could have done differently, and I say, yep, tomorrow.
Yeah, and brother, just to tap back in real quick to what John said earlier about how we have to measure up as men, how we have to almost nullify any feeling of emotion because we're supposed to be these indestructible robots, but we do hurt, we do suffer injury, and we do suffer feelings of anxiety, stress, depression, and we don't have vehicles of communication around us. Most men walk around closed in with all those thoughts and that pressure until it disrupts, usually in negative ways. So that's part of one of the things we're talking about with this conference. Now we're at 7:30, so this is the halfway point.
I'm done.
Okay, because we wrap up at 9. For the second half was supposed to be Q&A, but we've been mixing it all in. But for the people waiting, questions. If you have a question, if you are in an exercise program that you're not seeing results, if you are not in an exercise program and you're struggling through thoughts of how to get sparked, how to get motivated, if there's a nutritional question related to your meals, what times you need to eat, how to combine your foods, supplementation even. We're really trying to hit as much information so when you leave this conference, you're going to do one thing that much better in your life related to health and fitness based on you hitting that link and taking the time to sit and listen to these brothers and their stories. So for the remainder, questions, let's take that to the forefront. Take advantage of this wealth of knowledge and information. We got literally right now, approximately 200 years of exercise experience at your disposal. And it's something I get a chance to mention either. All the instructors participating have offered to put 4 hours aside tomorrow, the last day of Black History Month, 4 hours aside that they're giving 15-minute blocks of consultations, 15-minute blocks. You can have a 15-minute with a health instructor, a fitness expert, a coach. Our brother Val will give you nutritional information for those 15-minute moments. So that's just because you linked in. If you don't get everything answered, we will be giving contact information that you can reach out to. This was a question I didn't get a chance to ask. So again, for the remainder of the show, we're going with questions. The next one, just step right up. If you're ready inside the building, and we're one mic, so whoever speaks first is able to go.
I got a question.
Yeah. Oh,
So my
I'm
question.
sorry, Christian was up next. I apologize for that. He had his hand
Oh,
up.
that's okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, and then brother, you can go next after that.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. I was hoping to kind of be more on the end of the testimonial side, more so, rather
Well,
than
hey,
the-
brother, share the testimony, then get the question. I want to hear the testimony.
Yeah, for sure. So, Kristen Burnett, gonna be 31 Friday, so that's coming up. Had an interesting kind of path just when it comes to the whole, just health and kind of my arc as it pertains to that. First and foremost, as a kid, struggled like immensely with like allergies, like, which I know that sounds like, just a weird place to start, but like the way that kind of growing up that we ate, I know Dion alluded to, consuming a lot of milk and milk products or what have you. Back then, not, of course, your parents are just trying to do the best they can, right? So they're just feeding you what's been promoted, right? They see the commercials, they see Tony the Tiger on TV, and they're just like, oh yeah, my son, he's scared crying for it, I'm gonna give it to him, right? So years of that kind of compounding, and then I get to about 7 years old, eyes start hurting crazy. I'm like, yo, I'm outside playing. I've been outside playing, probably since I was like, 3-4 years old. Outside playing, now all of a sudden my eyes just, on fire. So I go to the doctor. They give me like allergy shot, pretty much say I have allergies, which now looking back on it, it's crazy that my body had that level of reaction at 7, because I mean, that's my first 7 years I've been on this planet. Like, for my body to be reacting like that, you could only imagine somebody who still eats like that, like what they going through. So eventually I get to about 19. Next thing I know, doctors telling me, oh, we got to put you on asthma medication. And I'm like, yo, I never had asthma. Like, but I was having issues where my allergies would get so bad, chest would be tightening up. I'm coughing, and it just, I can hear my breath. I'm like, this is a little strange. And by no stretch of the imagination, I wasn't, overweight. I played basketball for my team in high school, all of that stuff. So by no stretch of the imagination was I somebody who, would profile as like having those issues. But nonetheless, that started to come up. Taking the asthma medication, my second year of college, the medication's not working. Then the other medications I'm using giving me nosebleeds, just really, of course you get into dark green mucus, all of that stuff, like just stuff you don't want to see. So I'm like, all right, there's got to be something, like I got to do something about this. One, kind of looking at the people around me, I'm like, yo, we're way too comfortable taking medications. Like there has to be another way. So I started doing some digging, and also being that I went to school for, I was a chem major in school, like that's what I have my degree in. So I'm like, all right, I would hear bits and pieces of information just alluding to like the other side of things, and how all natural elements are things that are, well, all of the pharmaceuticals are derived from all natural elements, right? You're talking about all of these compounds that are derived, because you got to have a basis to synthesize something 1,000-fold to say, hey, we're going to give that to the masses. But what's missing are those biological pathways that are more natural to us, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, I think I'm onto something here. I had an organic chemistry tutor who sometimes he would say things, and it would kind of, I would be like, you know what, maybe I got to make a link here. So around like 20, I want to say when I was 20, late 20s, I changed my diet. I said, all right, I'm going to take a totally different approach with this allergy stuff. Started with some real small steps. Actually, in the beginning, I started eating like greens raw. And before, you couldn't, as a kid, you couldn't put anything green near me. Like I didn't want to look at anything, even if it could be the peas, you know, the mixed vegetables, the green peas. I'm like, nah, you gotta take that out. Like I don't want that, right? So, but eventually I was just like, yo, like just stop, just man up, basically, right? Like we gotta get this done. So I started eating kale, spinach, you know, all types of green stuff. Then, you know, just started taking it to another level as my knowledge got better and better. Started buying, you know, the chia seed, the hemp seed, maca root. You know, I got the purple sea moss, you know, I make that all the time. I bought me a Vitamix, you know, just started doing all type of stuff. And what I noticed is, one, like, I wouldn't tell you I don't have allergies. Like, I don't want to go and tell anybody that, but I haven't taken a pill for allergies since I was 21. Like, you know, and I'm about to be 31, you know, so I haven't done like anything, any medication, any of that stuff. I haven't had to go, you know, like I've either found a way to deal with it, or I say, all right, let me go whip up a smoothie, deal with the inflammatory symptoms. So, you know, that was one of the things. Another thing during the pandemic too, or right before the pandemic, I tore my Achilles. So that was another interesting thing, but I didn't put on weight because the foundation that I had over the last 10 years, you don't just throw that away. I'm not going to tell you guys I don't go on vacations. I don't, you know, enjoy myself as, you know, somebody you would expect to be like 30 would. But when I come back, I double down on the things that I've been doing for a long time, because I know, hey, like, I'm not just going to change, you know, just because I maybe, all right, I went to Jamaica, I had some jerk chicken, whatever, you know. At the end of the day, look, I come back. Ever since I've been living by myself for the past year, almost 2 years now, I haven't cooked any meat since I've lived here by myself, right? It's just mostly like, if I go on vacation, I ain't gonna starve, you know, whatever's there, I'm gonna eat. But at the end of the day, like, I have an internal discipline that I really apply to myself. So as I said, I tore the Achilles, you know, and kind of came back. It took a little while, but the good thing was I had the good diet foundation. So I didn't struggle with moving around and feeling like, oh, I couldn't do stuff after I finished healing. And then I want to say 9 months after the surgery, I linked up with Dion and started working out with him. And that really helped a lot, you know, kind of, it was a slow start because, you know, you're getting up in the morning, you're walking, you're still in some pain. Like it's not that you're not in pain still, even after that time, but certainly, you know, much better place now. Dion seen me beat a few people on the court before, you know, so you know, we back. And then I think one last thing I really want to address, the vaccine stuff, right? So I know for me, like, I try to hold out as long as possible. Right? I'm gonna keep it a stat. I try to hold out as long as I could up until like September 2021. And then I was faced with a couple of things. One, employment. Two, my best friend getting married. And to be there, you gotta be vaccinated. So I was just like, oh man, like, y'all really put me in a tough spot here. So
I saw him go through that, yo. He's giving y'all literally 100% truth, man.
Yeah.
You not want to be vaccinated.
Yeah, it was tough, you know, because it was just like, on one end, I don't believe that. I believe that a lot of us react to fear, right, so much, right, and we don't fix what's really going on in terms of diet, in terms of, you know, things that you really want to address internally from a diet standpoint. You know, I don't want to say it's being lazy or anything. I think it's just pointing to a lack of knowledge, lack of, you know, understanding about biology, the intersection between those two things. And that's what makes us react, you know, in a way where it's like, oh, I gotta go do this. You know, if I go do this, I get to smoke, drink, and do all of this stuff again. Like, you know, I'm like for me, it's like, nah, that's not really like, I didn't get the vaccine because I was like, oh my God, like, I'm so scared that like COVID is gonna take me out. Like, based on what I've done, I'm pretty confident. I tell my mom, tell my grandmother, like, it ain't gonna be COVID because what I do, I make sure I'm on top of my things. But it definitely was more the financial part. I started living by myself. I'm like, all right, like I gotta have some income coming in. I do things on the side, I tutor kids or what have you. But at the end of the day, like, my main job is the main breadwinner. Like I gotta sustain that. I put a lot of time in there. And just for the practical reasons, like at the end of the day, it was just like, damn, like I want to get bumped. There's things that I really want to move up and do. So yeah, but all of that to say, like you can start this is not like, I know everyone here or a lot of guys here, we got some guys in our 40s, 50s, maybe 60s or what have you. I just wanted to kind of speak from a perspective of like, when something hits you, for me, it was at 21. And, I can remember going on a trip to Canada with my friends, and I walk into the hotel room and everyone is prescribed medication. Like it's literally on the table, they're not doing illegal drugs, like, but it's Medicaid. It's literally everyone has prescription drugs for something, asthma, whatever. Right. And at that point, I'm like 4 years into my transition and my changes that I was making. I'm like, man, like, I can't imagine, being on it like that, like, where they start you off from young and, this is what it's become now, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Another thing is, I also had my first therapy session today. So I'm trying to make sure I'm right and, in parallel with all the things that I try to do. So, I always said, once I could focus on like getting my money right and trying to put some things in play, I always wanted to have that as, kind of moving parallel with me. So, yeah. That's
And so you said therapy session, was that a spoken therapy or physical therapy?
No, actual spoken like therapy, like talking to somebody about, just life.
Shay, brothers, that's the one thing I like about this vibe we got right here, because we are comfortably speaking about one of the things as men. We keep this, mental stuff, but we are in a loving atmosphere of men where you can speak to. Yeah, I spoke to a therapist yesterday, and you speaking among peers that understand that that's a tool to build and to become all that you can be, where you can get a competent professional to help you decode some of those things that could have you either foggy on some issues or not moving along in your goals. So brother, and for you to be so clear about that at an earlier age, because most of the men on this panel right now, we in our 50s and 60s. So I have so much respect to your journey and how you keep pressing that reset button. I'm listening to your story. It's like whenever an obstacle come up, you come up with the right pivot. You come up with the right thing to keep you moving forward. So I'm hoping a lot more men in your age group are using tools like you, and I'm hoping all those around you are learning from your life journey.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
All right.
Brother, anyone want to add, or Veronica, is it the next person there?
Yes.
Okay. So next person, just speak right up.
That was me, Harvey. That was myself?
I think so. Speak.
Yeah, I have a testimony and a question. I'm going to try to be as fast as I could.
Okay.
Sometimes I do taxi on the side as a hustle, right? And I was about 3 weeks ago now, or maybe coming up on 3 weeks now, I picked up a lady here in the Bronx, right in my area, and she was going down to Harlem. And I don't know what happened, but somewhere she wanted me to take the Bruckner. I got on across Bronx, and she began to panic, like really, really, really panic. And she thought maybe I was trying to kidnap her or something to that effect. But when I got down past Jerome Avenue, I seen her opening up the back door to jump out the vehicle while I was driving. And I said to her, I said, "Hey, sis, what are you doing? Don't do that." And I had to slow down and think fast because she really jumped out of a moving car that I was driving. And I had to stop the vehicle stop the vehicle because I didn't want to run her over. You know what I'm saying? And I heard her body hit the ground like, boom, you know? And I'm looking like, I'm like totally shocked because I can't believe she just jumped out of a moving vehicle. And nothing I can say to her to bring her to comfort before she jumped out the car. Let her know I'll have you in 10 minutes to home to your destination. It was a Sunday, you know, traffic early in the morning. It was all great. However, that kind of really threw me into a different state because I figured maybe she was mentally ill or something like that. Because like, who does that? But the potential of what could have went wrong. What if a police officer was driving by, seen her jump in my vehicle? She could have said anything. I tried to rape her, tried to kidnap her, and things would have looked real bad because of the chance that she just took, putting herself at jeopardy. So I want to know, I think a lot of us here, even myself included, are under some kind of mental illness and just don't know it. So how do we spot the symptoms? Because I didn't see the symptoms in this lady at all until she jumped out of my moving vehicle. And then that really shocked me, you know, and I was only trying to take her to a destination. So apparently I've come to the conclusion that something was wrong that I didn't know about, that I didn't see. You know what I'm saying? And how do we know if we are really dealing with a mental illness? Because it's not like you feel the physical effects of it. You know, we've been traumatized for a long time. You know, if it's just not us in society, you know, it's nonsense that we've been through and go through. Just watching Fox and CNN will have you mentally ill. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that we really got to stay on point with now. And mind you, brothers and sisters, prior to so-called white folk shooting up their schools, the term mental illness was never really given or applied to any segment in society. It came to them first. But, you know, we've been dealing with this, and our trauma has been largely ignored. We've latched onto the term mental illness because it's now universally accepted as a condition that people go through. But for so long, there's been no official classification other than ridicule and condemnation, calling us nuts, crazy, animals, etc., etc. And how do we spot these symptoms? How do we know we're not mentally ill? You know, I just want to put that out there.
That's an excellent question. And it's even a good segue, because even before answering, well, not even answering that, but addressing the whole topic, I should have said this at the top of the show. All of the information that we're providing is information in base. It's informational. It's to give our insights and our opinions about the subject that we're speaking on. Nothing stated should be directly interpreted as medical advice or advice that should be taken in relation to any other medical care someone is taking. Now, to address the question, interestingly enough, the main person that is qualified to answer that, Dr. Umar Johnson, this is Black History Month, so there's a slight entanglement with his engagement. We're still trying to get him in. So I would want to hold off on addressing a question that's specifically designed for his area of expertise. He's a psychologist. But so we're going to hold off on giving an answer because the fitness experts and nutrition are still on the panel. So is there a question related to fitness or nutrition that we can address for you? And if you can hold on between now and 9, we can get that other question answered.
Well, listen, so I want to thank y'all for having me on, but I got to get back to some other work right now.
Okay.
But
this will be recorded. So when you tap back into it again, we will have the answer before the show concludes at 9.
All right. And again, ladies and gentlemen, family, brothers and sisters, thank you very much. It's been real.
Thank you. Respect. Thank you.
Peace.
And the next person, step right up, please. If they're there, because I can't see everyone. All right, we had brother. Okay.
I see a hand raised. I think it said Kemia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speak, Kemia.
I was clapping.
Okay.
It was a clapping emotion.
Your
Emoji.
clap done got you in trouble. Now you got to do some speaking, Kemia. So tell us your story. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I learned about the event via Brother Val. I am his lady. so of course I wanted to come and support, but I'm also a person who is into health and fitness in terms of, I'm 48. Well, I will be 48 in March. And so as I've gotten older, I've realized that, as you know, as everyone has mentioned, your body doesn't react the same. And I realized in order to make sure I feel my best, I have to keep moving and I have to be mindful of what I'm feeding my body. And, you know, that saying, you are what you eat, it wasn't clear to me until I reached, you know, over a certain age. And then it'll be a year in April. Just one day I got up, it was in my spirit. Like, you know, I didn't eat much beef. I didn't eat beef at all, but I did eat chicken. And it was like, stop eating chicken. And I was like, wow, that was in my spirit. And that was it. And for me, I feel better. I've noticed a difference. I've noticed even that I've lost some inches in the process. I'm also an occasional jogger. And for me, as far as exercising, Brother Val, he's very disciplined when it comes to fitness. Me, on the other hand, as long as I have a race I'm working towards, I will definitely make sure I put in the work because, you know, you reap what you sow if you're training for something. And so for me, I know the importance of movement. I make sure I'm signing up for races. So during COVID, I'd sign up for so many races. And then, you know, of course, they all got canceled. So I wasn't jogging as much. But this year, I've been able to get back into it and sign up for races. So I'm actually preparing now for the New York City half, March 20th. So, and then I also got into the Brooklyn half. So, and hopefully I will be able to do a marathon later this year. But I just know for me, you know, approaching 50, that I have seen the difference in changing my diet. And I wanted to be more disciplined about it. So that's something I'm working on.
Wow. Well, I'm sure so many listening can tap into that because those are the things, you know, that discipline, committing to that regimen. Is anyone else can share with her story or give some insights that could help her along her journey?
Yeah, if I may, I'd like to mention two things, and this is directly to what Ms. Kenya said. Sorry, I mispronounced your name earlier. Okay, well, I didn't even mention my age. I'm 67, making 68 this year. And I mentioned that with pride, for real, almost bragging, to tell you the truth. So that being said, I only recently became a vegetarian, not yet a vegan. And it was a 3-step process for me. So anybody here that's on the fence, maybe this can help you decide which way you want to go. The first step was a documentary that I saw, which if you have any humanity in your heart, could be enough all by itself. And it was called Food Incorporated. Horrific.
Yeah, classic, yeah, this is a classic.
Horrific what they do to these animals, right? Food Incorporated. The second step was my brother introduced me to another documentary called Game Changers. On Game Changers, they completely blew away the myth that if you want to have physical prowess and strength, that you need animal protein. So they did some test runs with some, I think it was either college or high school athletes, some professional sports team. I'm not going to put their name out right now, just in case I'm wrong. Because like I said, the only thing I know beyond a shadow of a doubt is I don't know nothing. But there's a professional football team that almost the whole team went vegetarian. And then the other one I remember was what was then the world's strongest men. So they did tests where they had animal protein and they trained, and then they had plant-based protein. They excelled with plant-based, all right? The third step, as I said, there's a gentleman I listen to on a regular. I highly recommend anyone who desires more clearer vision and perspective. His name is Sadhguru. That's Sadhguru. Every day. he goes in my head, right? And he speaks about everything, Black Lives Matter, male-female relationships, the ecology, the air, mindset, you know, everything. So he's speaking about that of the 50 square kilometers, and he's a powerful guy, of the 50 square kilometers on the planet where stuff could grow, 40 million is dedicated to animals and raising their food. Let that sink in. 50 square, so it's 10 million where you can grow other agricultural things. And of that 10 million, we know how depleted the soil is. You know, there's not much nutrition in the soil. So he was saying that, I'm not saying everybody should become vegetarian if you sacrifice to the texture and the flavor. He said, but if you could just cut it in half, that would open up 20 million square kilometers where stuff could be grown to sustain the planet and the birds and the trees and the insects and everything else. So that was the third.
I might have seen a similar documentary to that. And I think they gave an example that to make a pound of beef, it took 60 gallons of water or some wasteful amount of resources just to get a pound of meat. And people don't realize how much energy goes into producing that when so many other things could sustain life. And brother Keith, I'm gonna do a hard shift a little bit because we have brother Tafiq, Dr. Shaka, who's been in the waiting room for a moment. He is a martial artist of the highest order. This brother is a legend in Harlem and in the Bronx. He comes through the community, and I definitely wanted to get him in to speak on martial arts, its origin in building discipline through us in all ages, and also his insights on health and fitness. So, brother Tafiq, I don't know if you're ready to step in and say a few words. You have to mute your mic, brother Tafiq. I see you, but is your mic muted?
Peace. Peace, Hotep. Can you hear me, my brother?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Peace.
Peace. I want to say Hotep, peace, Abagani, Assalam, Shalom to all of the family out there. I want to celebrate our beloved big brother, Herman Smalls, who has been a superhero in our community for over 35 years. And I salute him as a true comedic master and also as a natural health hero. And I want to say salute to you, my brother, for keeping up that fire and desire of continuously keeping our health in order. Yes, so for those that don't know, I'm Brother Tafiq, also known in the community as Dr. Shaka Zulu. I am a martial scientist, and I say scientist as to artist because there's a distinction because we're looking at the clinical aspect of not just martial arts. Martial arts also is we celebrate the comedic African origins of the martial arts for 22 years. I just came from celebrating my event that we have been doing here in New York for the past 22 years, celebrating the comedic African origins. I know a lot of people say, what are you talking about, Doc? Well, what I'm saying is that it's very good that you have a lot of us that celebrate the Chinese, the Japanese, and a lot of other systems of the martial arts, and respectively. However, we as melanated people, whenever we tap into these systems, we actually take it to a whole nother level that is beyond a lot of people's imagination. They call that phenomenon. We call that black magic, and so forth like that. But that's the orgone energy of the earth that's tapped into our melanin. So I've been teaching and talking that for about 20-something years, as you know, running my big lips, talking about that you see that the same moves that you have on the metal nectar in ancient Kemet, you also have in judo, jiu-jitsu, karate, and all the other fighting systems, boxing, etc. And so for the past 25 years or so, we've been combining not just the combat arts, but now completing it now with the healing arts. So now we're combining doing martial arts, physiotherapy, acupuncture, body work, etc.
Excellent. And as you said, you've been working in the community for decades. So the mind body in martial arts is so vital. Where does the average person with, let's say, a child looking to put them in the building blocks to start to get them to regulate their balance and understand discipline, how early would you suggest someone bringing someone to the path of martial arts?
As early as they can, because martial arts is martial science. That's why I call it martial science. Is about movement. Those of us, we understand about the energy. We also talk about the art of dance. So, you know, I'm also a hip hop papa. I come from the first family of hip hop. And so we came from the origins of creating the dance moves, and those dance moves that we were dealing with, unbeknownly to a lot of people, they weren't just throwing your hands in the air, waving like you just don't care. These were also African warrior moves, incorporating all type of stuff that we call Kupi Nugumi, etc., which is African martial sciences, Mantu arts, which is the warrior arts of Kemet, and so forth. In the Caribbean, we also have stick fighting, and so forth, Kalinda, which is also a part of break dancing, stick licking from Barbados, from my Bajan family. Yeah, man. So what Noble Drew Ali said, what your ancient forefathers were, we still are today.
Respect, respect. And I'm glad I had you on board, because I know before we wrap at 9, we're going to have more questions about martial arts. I want to segue a little to a brother Julius from Harlem. This brother is one of our best legal minds. This brother's politically active. He keeps the community abreast on so many issues that gets buried under paperwork that he brings light to keep us abreast of how we're being moved on as a community. So Julius, I hope your mic is off mute and you're ready to introduce and share some words and insights.
Right. Thank you, Brother Herman, for having this forum. And Shaka, good to see you, brother. That's my brother right there.
Peace. Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to comment a little bit on what Sister Kima was talking about. And I'm a runner. I'm also a master of the martial arts myself. I've mastered the art of fighting without fighting. So that takes a lot of, up in here. But in any event, I still run, and a lot of people my age, I don't know if I should reveal my age just yet, but a lot of people my age, they're always complaining about their knees and their ankles and everything. So I want to address, running is very important. You want to keep your lungs expanded, and you got to do breathing exercises, and running is a breathing exercise as well. So you could do stationary breathing exercises, but in the art of running, you have to stay very hydrated. A lot of runners, they don't stay hydrated properly. You need to have electrolytes, so it's not just about drinking water, but you have to have all of those electrolytes, because really we're electrical. Our bodies are, they run on electricity. So you need those electrolytes. You have to lift weights. And the reason why I say that you have to lift weights is because running is a bone-bearing exercise.
Weight bearing.
Huh?
Weight bearing, you meant, right?
Yeah, weight bearing, right. And your bones and your muscles may not be ready for that. So you can't continue to run and pound on pavement and ground unless your muscles and your bones are, trained for it. So you may have to do lighter weight, more isolated, to get those muscles and ligaments and tendons ready for the running. I'm not a total vegetarian. I don't eat red meat, but I have to have a certain amount of protein. So for me, eggs, milk, sardines, salmon, chicken. I eat very kosher, by the way. I don't mix milk with chicken, but I'll drink milk with fish. Stretching is very important. You have to stretch like people stretch only one way, or, but when you're running, you have to stretch the entire knee area. So you got to stretch it laterally on both sides, in the front and the back. If you're just stretching, a hamstring and a basic quad stretch, that's not enough. You got to keep that knee fully flexible and strong. So your stretching on your run days shouldn't be heavy. You warm up. You try to do a full range of motion movement on those running days. And then on a day that you're not running, you warm up and you stretch, good. A lot of times people don't absorb the minerals and the nutrition out of food. So absorption is key. And I'm not going to try to give it to you all, in one night, but you have to be able to absorb your vitamins and your minerals. So you need to research on, maybe you're combining foods wrong. You're combining your minerals wrong. Minerals, if you take magnesium and zinc together, well, one's going to cancel the other out. So in order to absorb minerals, you should take them as separate as you can. So magnesium would be one time of day, zinc another, and so forth. Don't try to put them all together. And that's the same thing with certain vitamins. You got to eat healthy fats. A runner needs to have healthy fat in his body. So olive oil, and you got to be careful when you're using olive oil not to burn it too much. It's a delicate oil. So when you're cooking with olive oil, if you're trying to stir fry something, put some water or butter in the olive oil. Don't try to cook the olive oil, by itself. You want to keep the temperature on the oil low, because that good fat can then turn into something that's carcinogenic.
Exactly.
Your stool is a great gauge of your health. So don't just go to the bathroom and ignore what you're getting rid of. Look at your stool, and if it's like a snake, and it's firm and it's got a nice healthy color, it doesn't really smell bad, that's a good sign. And that's demonstrating that your intestines are getting cleaned out. So if your stool is lumpy and clumpy, and it's if it's too loose, or if it's too hard, you're going to have to make adjustments. So these are the things that runners have to really pay attention to, because when you run, that is going to sort of like, loosen everything up, and you're going to get rid of the waste. But if you're getting rid of the waste where your stool is very shreddy, then you're not absorbing correctly. So there's something wrong with your absorption. So basically, to recap, very hydrated, electrolytes, absorption, stretching, and eating a good amount. And a good amount is the right amount of fats. So healthy fats, butter, olive oil, avocado, coconut oil. These are good healthy fats. And you don't have to be afraid of fats, because your body needs fats, but they have to be healthy. So
the common thread was hydration. That's what Brother Val hit heavy. Hydration. So
yeah. Now for me, how much
brothers, if I could, this is what I'm going to do, because the next part is so important. Believe it or not, the time is flying. We got less than an hour left. And I don't want this part to go without being addressed, especially with all the people we have waiting. The commitment, remember, all the presenters are putting 4 hours aside that they are blocking out into 15-minute consultation periods, 15-minute consultation periods that they will give to anyone who would reach out, either whichever method, email or text. They can have that address. And I think a few are going to make a phone number available too, even across the phone. So before we lose, the clock runs out, all of the presenters, please give what contact that person seeking to take advantage. And it's only tomorrow, guys. This is strictly because you participated tonight. Tomorrow, you will have a 15-minute period once you call to lock their time in with one of the presenters. So guys, we're going to take a break from the testimonies for a moment for you to give your contact information. If you got a product available, any way that anyone who doesn't get to get on it might want to reach out to you beyond today. And y'all can start with whichever order you're comfortable with. Who is first?
I guess I'll go. I would like to add this too real quick. My number is 347-993-3462. I'm gonna go again. 347-993-3162. Let me straighten that out. Also, I noticed that a lot of people are going back to the gyms. Be mindful, there's a lot of bacteria, staph diseases of staph bacteria and germs in the gyms that you can catch that far as antibiotics and different type of medicines they have to try to cure it will not cure. So be mindful how you wipe down the equipment. They said there's 360, I think, 2 germs more than the toilet bowl, a toilet seat, lying on these gym apparatus or gym equipment. With that said, make sure you have your own wipe downs, your own different type of apparatus that will make sure you be more safer in the gyms. I also have something I just want to share with you called the AJ Sani bench cover, which goes over about 97% of the gym apparatus that you can cover your gym equipment up with, where you'll be more safer. After the wipe down, you place it over the equipment, which you can go to ajsani.com, and you can actually put in for this particular type of gym, I could say, tool, because we all need that. And also make sure you have your hands covered. Get the full hand gloves. Don't try to do with the fingers out. There's a lot of things going on in the gyms. If you don't believe me, go Google it. Google it and find out the information so that you'll be safe, because you're going there for fitness, not to get sickness. To that, say 347-993-3162. Anthony, next brother.
Excellent. Who's up next? Dion, you ready? Dion?
Dion Ashman, Get Fit, acronym for Focus Interval Training, 917-658-2608. I also put that information into the chat for everyone.
Oh, good. Now, and also, Anthony, you didn't give out the block of time. How you gonna when they reach out to you, you're gonna let them know what time period they can have that consultation?
Yes, I was saying the time limit was from 10 to 2 tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow. You can actually call me 347-993-3162. This is Body Fitness Studio out of Brooklyn, Anthony Jones.
And Dion, what kind of time frame you can allow?
I'll be available between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock tomorrow. 1 p.m. and 4 p.m.
And the number again?
917-658-2608. Anybody who calls knows that when we talk about what people refer to as diet, I don't use that term. The first, second, third letter of the word diet spells die, and I'm totally contradictory, 100% against dying, right? So it's meal plan, it's meal regimen, it's food plan, it's all of that.
Brother Val, next, please. Brother Val, you up?
Brother Val, I'll put all that information in the chat, but the best time to reach out to me is between the hours of 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. Early in the day, I have something to do. I can give you, my email is broval, manly@gmail.com. Okay. And all the other information will be in the chat.
Excellent.
Thank you
Brother
very much.
Tafiq. I'm sorry, brother Tafiq.
Is it? Did I? What's the email?
Dr. Shaka, brother Tafiq.
Peace. Yes, health is wealth, my brother. Natural health hero right here in the house, Dr. Shaka Zulu. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that people could contact your natural health hero at email, first and foremost, for a consultation. Natural health hero, the number's 786@gmail.com. Again, that's natural health hero 786@gmail.com. All right. And my number is 347-391-9685. And we'll be having the consultations going on for about 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. All right. That's 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for a complimentary consultation on a health assessment. What I do, I'm also an acupuncturist, a Qigong physiotherapy, and combining what we use in Natural Health Hero over the years of over 30 years of complementary holistic health and wellness, fitness coming together, the martial arts as well as the healing arts coming together, coming combined. Okay, from all of the years of kickboxing and boxing, Brother Herman knows we've been doing a lot of boxing back in the days in Harlem and in Harlem, over at the gym on 125th Street at the National Black Theater before it started going into the mosque and all these other things. But we was doing our boxing thing over there too for years. So salute to him for that. But Natural Health Hero, I want to share with the family, in addition to my acupuncture services, which I do a detox right here. This is some of the stuff here. But real quick, this is something that you definitely might want to pay attention to. This is called the Natural Health Heroes 4 Thieves Blend. And the 4 Thieves Blend is a wonderful tonic elixir that's excellent for the whole body. It's excellent for men, women, and children. It's excellent to enhance the immune system, particularly dealing with a lot of the issues, I'm not going to say, but dealing with our respiratory, our immune system, is being able to strengthen the compromise of it because it has over vinegar, garlic, rosemary, thyme, marjoram, and sage, and so many other things. And we'll get into that later, but we all know that those are culinary herbs that we should all have in our cabinets. However, when we use them together, they all synergistically work even stronger to enhance our immune system. All right, so I want to welcome you guys to come check that out. Also, we have our own sea moss, Irish sea moss, and not from Ireland, but right from New York City. That's right. And sea moss is excellent because it has so many vitamins, minerals, etc. It's good for your mental health as well as your physical health. All right. So make sure y'all check out Dr. Shaka Zulu, Natural Health Hero. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Salute.
Salute. Thank you. And we got Brother Keith. Brother Keith, I know you've been working with supplements and you've been working with herbs and you've been dealing with distributors from overseas and always getting the best price for the brothers and sisters on this side of the shores. If you want to give some brief information related to people wanting information about some of your sources of supplements and vitamintation.
Thank you very much. I'm honored with that, Brother Smalls. It's good to see you, Dr. Shaka. It's good to see you, my man. Yeah, peace. As I had said, my foray into the aside from the Shepherd Foundation had come by way of entrepreneurial things, and that kind of forced me to pay attention to what is real good nutrition and what is good health. And I'm gonna speak to Brother Kenya about the running thing. But as far as products, yes, I have been blessed. I was blessed first with a product called Superior Blue Green Algae by a company named Celtec that I think may disbanded. And they had some great products. Don't know if they're still around. Currently, I'm working with what I consider a superior type of blue-green algae. Superior Panax ginseng. And it's grown in the Changbai Mountains on the border of North Korea and China, but it's processed in Taiwan. So don't worry about the ecology of China right now. And truly, yeah, I'm prepared. Well, I'm from Harlem, so I know what people threw at me, so I got to have a comeback, right? But as of right now, I say this, I'm one of the premier presenters at our presenters. And I say, and no one challenged me, that this is arguably, not definitely, because only thing I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I don't know nothing. But this is arguably one of, if not the best single thing. Like if you was on a desert island and you had air and water, you might want them to ship this in for you because it will nourish you. And there's a high-powered fitness trainer that I've been trying to connect Mr. Smalls to, but I haven't been able to yet. He's on the West Coast named Charles Smith, not the Knicks basketball player that messed up the game, but his name is Charles Smith. And he lived on this, he says, for 2.5 months, water and this. So it is a powerful nutrition. And I think it's arguably one of the single best things you can put in your body. So that's on the product side and everything else. I'm blessed just to be here, brother. And my number is, I'm gonna give the cell phone. I don't usually do that, but I feel safe right now. 917-826-0216 is the cell phone. I'm gonna put it in the chat. And I just got blessed with a woman whose group, they helped me build a Facebook business page, and it's called Health Wealth Essentials. And I'll put that in the chat. Health Wealth Essentials. Thank you very much for giving me the time.
Excellent, excellent. And I see a brother who popped up that I want to give him a chance to say a few words. Brother Kareem, this is a brother I've known from the community for decades. This brother, I mean, I just admire the way he's been consistent and following his path of health and assisting me with my cable show with his feedback. So, Brother Kareem, if you want to say a few words, please just join in a testimony or question for the guests we have assembled. Brother Kareem, are you still there? Now, I don't know, we lost him or he got shy on us and took off. But we got.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing?
If Kareem, if you pop back in, just let me know.
Yeah.
If not, this
I'm
is
here.
another important thing. Oh, you here? Okay,
here.
Kareem, share some words, and then I'll comment after that.
Okay. Good evening, y'all. I'm doing good.
Peace.
Yeah, working out and stuff. Getting back into working out and stuff. I stay on the healthy side and stuff. Yeah, I'm leaving work now. It's on 8:30. So I'm just joining that.
Okay. So
yeah,
only catching up to it now.
Yeah, I've been on like 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, I tell you, you're gonna have to pitch this from the beginning, Kareem, because guys been dropping.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
But now, Kareem, this next part is probably gonna be some of the biggest gems. Everyone now, give a thought. And please, please give me 3 things that you would classify as a stress buster. 3 stress busters. So I'm talking about you have one of them days. I forgot who was speaking earlier. I think it was one of the younger brothers. He said, okay, he tore his Achilles heel, went outside, the car was stolen. And I don't know, he got back home and the dog was gone. I mean, I'm adding some stuff, but he was having a bad run of luck.
You combine two people.
Oh, combine it
Christian and Jason. Jason's car got stolen.
Like bad luck. But when you have one of them days, what are the things you do or places you go or activity that brings you back centered to a place of peace? If you got 3 of them that can share, and we can start at the top again with John. John is still available? Okay. Available, we'll go right to Dion. 3 stress busters.
Well, number 1 is meditation and prayer.
What you doing now?
And I'm like, even when I was, and Jason could attest to this because he was there with me in Kemet, I would get up. Everybody got up at 6:30 in the morning. I literally got up at 4 o'clock, was literally on the bank of the Nile River, praying and meditating for about 20 minutes before I went to work out in the fitness center while the Nile River looked at me and I looked at the Nile. And then I would go and watch the sun come up. So getting up early, having a self-made protein shake, or power shake that is homemade, not anything, none of that poison off the counter from GNC or from Vitamin Shop or Vitamin World. Then my meditation and prayer, look to the east where the sun rises, Kefre, and pray and meditate. And then the last thing is that nutrition. It's that nutrition. It's the workout. It's the prayer and meditation. It's the nutrition, and it is literally, like I said, meditation, prayer, meditation, the workout, and the nutrition. It's
Right.
really it's everything for me. It centers me before I start hitting a heavy bag or shadow boxing or rope or run, strength and conditioning training, whatever me, yoga exercises. If I have those several things in my life where prayer, meditate, exercise, and nutrition, I'm good.
Respect. Brother Val, can you chime in with that? The three critical things that you use.
Yes, I would like to definitely say meditation is number one. I started meditating about a year and a half ago. And then when I first started, it's kind of scary because the only reason why I say it's kind of scary because when you sit by yourself and you're not talking, your brain, you can feel and hear your thoughts moving a mile a minute, almost 1,000 miles a minute, because everything is, you're talking to yourself and with 10,000 conversations. So when you meditate, you have to quiet your mind, and in quiet your mind, sitting in a posture, it is almost nerve-wracking. It's not something that we're used to doing. We're always used to moving or being entertained with a cell phone or with the television or interacting, but just to sit quietly without actually kneeling in prayer is somewhat challenging. But after you get over the initial reaction to it, then you can become more comfortable. Then I noticed after you take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, when you quiet your body, you calm your spirit, then you can meditate. So it went from 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes. And this can actually happen pretty quickly. You realize the benefits of it, and then you be more comfortable. It's almost, for me now, it's like I have to do it every day. It's so comforting, and it's so connecting to your spirit. It connects you to your spirit, to the universe, where you feel like that space is sacred. And it being sacred, you want to do it often as much as possible. But what I also realize is during the day at work, if I'm like, sometimes little things can frustrate you. Little things that sometimes don't make sense, it can frustrate you. But if you remember to yourself, quiet yourself, calm down, just relax. Don't go to that next stage of frustration over something simple that really didn't mean anything. So I'm using it as a tool in my everyday life, just to calm myself in moments, just for 2 or 3 minutes, calm down, relax, just breathe. And it helps me in my overall day, as opposed to get flustered or frustrated or fly off the handle for not a really good reason or apparent reason. So it helps me throughout the day. So I would say meditation first. Second, I would say stretching, because when you stretch your whole body, like you would get on the mat, you would stretch your legs, your back, your arms, that it almost is like it relieves the tension that you have built up for that particular day. So I stretch usually when I come home from work, and that was one of the on the health talk that I do twice a month. That was one of the last health talks. Each person that came on that day, they had to make one commitment that you must do this year for yourself. That's a healthy habit for you. It could be any healthy habit that you chose, but it had to be a healthy habit that you had to commit to, meaning you had to do for the whole year, whether it was drink water, whether it was exercise, whether it was watching what you eat, whether it was stretching or bike riding, whatever it was, you have to adopt, because before you get to 2, you got to start at 1. So we tried to get everybody to do one healthy habit, and they would choose that. And then we would basically, as we go on, we'll, follow up on that. But I would say first meditation, then stretching. Then I I really can't think of a third one, but if I did have to say a third one, it would probably be writing. When I get up early in the morning, some people are different. Some people are night people. I'm a morning person. So when I get up maybe 2 hours before work. I come and I basically can sit down and I can write in a creative way. It seems as though my thought pattern just flows, as opposed to if I come back in the evening or later on at night, it seems as though I struggle a little bit more. But when I wake up the first thing in the morning, I can put pen to paper, and I can write about either my day or what I want to organize for the next health talk or for a future engagement. So I feel like writing is excellent as well, because when you put pen to paper and you write out, almost like a plan or a strategy or a goal that you want to achieve, you want to see that every day and you want to read that every day. So what I also got into doing is I start writing affirmation cards. Like right here at this table in the morning when I come in, wake up in the morning, I read, these affirmation cards just to keep it's almost like you put a spirit on, a spirit of armor, mental armor, and spiritual armor to go out throughout the day. So I read certain affirmation cards to myself in order to fortify my spirit. So writing as well. I would say those.
No,
things.
you asked me something. I want to say. No, I don't. No, I'm sorry.
Someone has to close their mic if you're speaking and you don't have the mic. I'm sorry, brother.
Yes,
I still hear somebody. I still hear somebody with their mic. I don't know if they closed it.
It's Kareem. You have to mute your. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I hope everyone heard me, but I said the last one was writing, sitting down and just putting pen to paper, whatever comes to mind. Like my grandmother, she passed in 91, my great grandmother who raised me. And just last week, she just came to my mind. And I woke up one morning and I just started writing everything I remembered about her. And it just flowed from me, but it was therapeutic. So that's what I do in the morning. And it can be any topic. It can be anything. It just comes right out. So I feel if you put pen to paper, it can be therapeutic, and you can also write down your goals and what you want to accomplish this year. But the other thing I said, I don't know if you heard me, is that I read my affirmation cards. I have affirmation cards that I go through every morning before I go out. I'll read it real quick right now. Take your time when you speak. You think, you take your time when you talk. You think clearer and sharper when you take your time. Breathe naturally, flow in the harmony of God's spirit. That's one of them. There's another one. Prayer and meditation are forms of spiritual mental communication with the higher power. The universe is seen and unseen spiritual power and laws designed to help you evolve, bringing forth what you call into existence by your thoughts, words, actions, and deeds. It works with you. It works for you. Live your life's purpose with passion, purposefully. Fear can be a paralyzer to growth when it's supposed to be a test to empowerment. Be empowered. So those are the things, some of the things that I write down and some of the things that I, fortify my spirit with. So those are the three things that I would say.
Powerful. Brother, you're going to definitely chime in. I know you're going to hit some heavy stuff, Brother Jones. So, let it go. And Brother Jones, you are the elder fitness specialist on this panel now at 667, right?
66, brother.
Okay. So as the elder fitness grandmaster here, give us your 3 stress busters that help you bring all of that energy down when things are getting out of hand.
Okay. Basically, they just about hit the hammer on the nail. But I can actually add to it. Prayer is one as you get up and go to bed, or even through the day. That's always a positive. Pray to the creator, to whoever you say is your creator, and reach out for something that's positive, it's going to be uplifting. Another thing that I found that is one of the busters is exercise. Exercise not only relieves stress, but it makes you look good. Number 3 for me, I'm an artist. I paint. So I would like to get this out a little bit, and maybe I can actually show you some of the paintings. I find a lot from the paintings. I get a lot of relief. I got stuff from Broadway, in Manhattan. I mean, I find that to be a stress reliever. But getting back to the fitness would be my number one choice because it does so much for the aura as well as the physical. To take that out, back to you, Herman.
Excellent. Dr. Shaka, if you can give me your 3 essential buses that just help you regulate and get yourself centered when all things around you are in bedlam.
Peace, family. One of the first things I want to just, I'm so honored again to be amongst this group here of enlightened individuals, sharing this wealth of information. Health is wealth. So the first thing I want to definitely affirm on is the power of prayer and meditation. All right, and being in tune with oneself. And just when we think that we have that, we still must keep going in deeper and deeper and deeper. All right. The second thing that I want to say is definitely stay more hydrated, because as we know that our bodies are more water content than anything else. Not only that, but for those of us who are in this chat room, like I said, even putting the power of thought into interjecting that and magnetizing that into your water. So we have to like denigritize a lot of the stigmas that has been placed upon the madness upon our people. So we can change that first and foremost based upon the intention of our minds and the intention of the water, as well as the foods that we ingest as we internalize into our bodies. Ashe. And then the third thing is exercise. So I'm a martial scientist. I like kickboxing. I do qigong. I do acupuncture. I massage the ears when I want to stress out. When people are stressing me out, I do my breathing, of course, but I do my massaging of the ears. But one of the most things that I do love to do, and this is Black History Month, is I love to play the drum. And so by placing the drum and handling the drums, I feel so good because it has me in tune from the root to the fruit. Okay, so I play the djembe. This is also one of my other favorite friends right here. This is called a hang drum. We use this in sound meditation. So this is in tune with the 7 chakras. And this is just a little. And that's what I do to have a little fun here and there.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to throw my quick 3, and I'm surprised if this one didn't get touched. Music, man. I put on some nice, slow, relaxing music. It's soothing. It's soothing. This one was touched on, but I want to go a little breathing, deep breaths, deep breaths. In the middle of bedlam, chaos, craziness, take a moment, pull that air in through your nose, and let it out through your mouth. Pull that breath in and let it out. 5 to 10 times. I bet you it'll take an edge off anything going on right at that moment. Now you might have to get to the nuts and bolts or whatever the situation is, but sometimes just getting yourself firmly on that steering wheel for a moment will at least put you in a position to start taking yourself in the direction that you need to go. And we didn't touch on sleep enough, I think, because rest, sleep, solid sleep, the benefits of your exercise and your nutrition is taking place while you're in your sleep state. Your body is assimilating all that great food you ate. Those microscopic tears you cause in your muscle tissue from that hard workout, now that's starting to bond. That's starting to get stronger again, preparing for the next workout. So sleep. And I know sometimes we struggle with it. Some of us try to get by with 4 or 5 hours. Aim for that longer time to give your body enough time to fully rest and recover. Now, we're going to close out on one subject because believe it or not, we're down to 18 minutes. So I want to get one comment on this one. One comment. from all of the presenters, and even if there's time for those who were able to get in and link, but definitely for the presenters first. And I would like to preface this one thing I want you to state. I want it to be related to the world condition, the way the world is. What we can do as individuals to make this world a better place in our actions in our movement. And I want to prefix that with some words that are going to be given tomorrow. There's the elder getting ready to speak tomorrow. An elder that I've seen for all of my adult life, and I dare say everyone here has seen for all of their adult life. This address he's giving tomorrow will be at 2 p.m. I think it's going to be higher than religion, whatever your religion is. This man has a track record, and I think he should be respected and listened to. And this is none other than Honorable Louis Farrakhan is giving his swan song tomorrow at 2 p.m. And this, from what I'm hearing, all accounts will be his version of the most important things he needs to state to the world in his life. And that elder is in his 80s. So as we wrap, what is the one thing towards the world that you're saying as a health fitness specialist, expert, what are you going to give? What's the one thing you can advise and give that if the human beings began to adopt that tomorrow, we can get a better world going? Then what's that one thing? Starting with whatever order you want.
Clarity of mind.
Elaborate a little on it, clarity of mind. Why is that so important?
Mindset, it all starts with your mindset. You will not take care of your health if your mind is not in the right place. As I mentioned earlier when we first started the conversation, that 85% of what we do and what we don't do is directly related to our daily psychology. And if you just mentioned sleep, one of the things I talked about is that's why it's important for us to get to sleep properly. Getting that sleep and the way you awaken in that next morning, or call it kefre, the rebirth, right, at sunrise, is directly related to how you carry out your day. So if you have clarity of mind that comes from inside the soul, you will be able to move through your day or your daily routines effectively.
Clarity of mind and mindset. Brother Anthony, the one thing that if human beings adopted tomorrow, we can start turning the situation around.
First, it always starts with you. So building your structure up physically and mentally towards the positive realm. And I believe that's where it'll start, to build a better, not only nation, but a people of this planet. That's all I gotta say.
It starts with you. Brother Val, the one thing that as the human family that we got to get going on, what is that? Brother Val?
Yes, okay, I had to unmute myself. I would like us to recognize our full potential. And when I say recognize our full potential and value, when you spoke of the swan song with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, a lot of people may not know his whole history. I don't know everything, but I know some things. And what I do know is that he shared in one of his lectures that his mother tried to abort him on 3 times because his birth was under some suspicious circumstances, meaning his mother was married to his brother's father. His father came back into the picture when his brother's father was not around. So they had, relations. So she became pregnant. And then after she became pregnant, she was like, what am I going to do? So she wanted to abort him. And back in those days, they didn't have the abortion clinics like they do have today. So according to him sharing his story with us, she tried to abort him with a hanger 3 times. And then when it didn't work on the 3rd time, she said, well, I'm gonna have him. And he said he's a product of her prayers through that process of being revealed that I need God's help, because if this man finds out that I have a baby on the way. When I'm married to, to my husband, and it's not his, what will happen? But that's what actually happened. The man actually found out that she did have an extramarital affair, and Farrakhan was produced at that time. I think his name was Gene, and she had to basically care for her, both of her boys. But I say that conversation, that story, because if he did not come to birth, then in my opinion, that Black people's consciousness wouldn't be what it is today. Following in the footsteps of Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Minister Farrakhan, they have awoken a whole nation through their words and through their work within our communities and around the world. So that's why I say you are the individual is more powerful than they think they are. We think the system is more powerful than we are, but we are the system. And when we move and act and operate in a way with that power, backed by the universal force of God, then we can move and shape lives within our community and within our nation and within our world. But we have to take on that mantle and live that life. So that's what I have to say. Our own empowerment.
Ashe. Brother, Dr. Shaka, your words? That one thing that humans got to get on.
That one thing that humans got to get on is
that would impact us if we started on it tomorrow. We would begin to change this thing around.
Man, I'm telling you, it'll be a big slap black to reality. The power of love.
Ashe.
Love of knowledge of ourselves and the knowledge of our families, and then we'll be able to go right from there. But we have to start with the power of love. Love is the greatest power of all. It is the universal power to transform hate into all things. It will crush mountains. If we just came together and just exercise the power of love. Even our exercising is love. Love of the gift that the great God, the great almighty source of sources, named whoever, however, herself, himself, whatever, came to us and birthed us with this great gift of inspiration, expiration, that we can now transform this universe. I'm not talking about conformists, I'm talking about transformists. So that's who I'm talking about. Love, the power of love. You know what I'm saying? So I thank you, brother, because you have always been a great example, a demonstrator, a master of the power of love in our community, particularly in the Black and other community. You know what I mean? So I thank you again for bringing me on here. I'm honored to be again with all these brothers, you know what I'm saying, and sisters that's listening. And like I said, this is great information that we hopefully, by the grace of the Most High, should hopefully transform to affirmation and transformation for birth and regrowth. Peace.
Ashe. And a brother just popped in. I know we got 9 minutes, but I got to give this brother a few moments to speak. This is none other than Matt McCoy. And brothers, what we're doing right now, this is media. We are controlling our narrative. If we don't tell our story, somebody else will be telling our story. And it's usually not going to be a representation of truth. Brother Matt McCoy, he's a media mogul. He's been behind pushing positive images of Black people for decades. So, Brother Matt, it's only a few minutes, but I definitely want to give you a chance just to share how important it is to control our narrative vice media. And if your mic is off or unmuted, Matt.
Yes, sir, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Sorry, I came in late, but I did hear some positive words and vibrations from the brothers who were on. And I appreciate you guys for having us. Sorry that I was late, but you know, it is important that we do control our narrative, that we tell our own story. And I've been doing this now on television. Right now, we're in 480 million homes around the country. Mm-hmm. And we just partner with Ebony Magazine, matter of fact. They're coming out with their own TV network also. So we're the only 100% Black-owned TV networks out there right now. But it's important to tell the story about fitness and health And I think sleep is important. Diet is very important, that we have the right diet. I just recently, about a year ago, changed over to Dr. Sebi's plan. I'm on Dr. Sebi's diet plan. I've been doing that. Now I'm feeling real good, feeling real great, getting back into my health again. It's important because we're busy, and we're busy trying to stay alive, trying to dodge the bullets that the other people are throwing at us. So I just appreciate you guys for doing this. Sorry I'm late, but I will watch the rerun, and I'll catch all the information. Peace and blessings to everybody.
Excellent. Respect. And you inadvertently did something that I should have did at the beginning in mentioning Dr. Sebi. Grandmaster, we lost several years ago. We lost Abdul Musawir.
Yes, we sure did.
Lost Sensei Marvin Gatlin. We lost Dr. Lelia Africa. So this is a time. They say when the elder, an African proverb is when the elder dies, it's like the library burns down. When you lose the grandmaster, it's like 10 universities burning down.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we have suffered from. So let's continue to lift all these men's names: Dr. Leala Africa, Dr. Sebi, Sensei Marvin Gatlin, Abdul Musawir.
And you know what, Herman? Like your last point, last person we got to lift up. I just interviewed her yesterday for a big Black History Month thing for FIT. And it's still on my network, still up on Facebook, Soul City Network. Go check it out. I interviewed Dr. Ju Pukram. So Dr. Pukram, I've interviewed her about 3 times already over the last 3 years. But that's my girl. She is incredible. And she dropped some jewels. So definitely go check it out. Dr. Pukram is another one that we can lift up, a sister that's powerful.
Yeah, she drops some jewels. She don't ever not drop jewels.
Yeah, and she don't stop dropping them.
Yes, and she's been doing it. Yes. So
thank you, bro.
The last few minutes, I just want to just take a moment to thank you all for taking the time out of your world. And I didn't kind of put this together with all the time in the world to prepare, but on a short notice, every one of you positively responded to a request of your time and just to come and join me with providing your vital information to the people that we all love. And I know everyone on here loves Black people. That's why it was so easy to get this going. It's like, what's the purpose? We're going to help our people. And that was it. And you all came. So I am so wealthy in the relationships that I feel fortunate enough to have in each and every one of you. And let's continue to build. Let's use these platforms and these social media devices to teach. Because right now folks is running amok. It's gossip, it's pettiness going back and forth. And people don't realize this is international. The world watches our social media. So while all these other things are taking place, I want us to continue to come together in these formats and other formats that will put a positive message forward, that will keep our people moving forward at this critical hour, man, because some call it prophecy. But if you look at the dynamics of different parts of the world, we have not been under these circumstances in a time that was not yet predicted. So it is essential for us to move forward. I would just like to close out again saying—
May I say something, please?
Oh, sure, definitely.
Hello, everyone. Hotep. My name is Imani from Jersey, and I first of all just want to say that, Herman, I love you. And I just think that this forum was so beautiful and so timely, because usually it's sisters that are putting together such forums where we're asking women, how are we feeling? And we are the ones that are always the caretakers of our brothers. And it's just so beautiful. And I know that brothers are doing it as well. But just to see everyone coming together, and these are brothers. I sent this out, like literally I didn't get on right away because I was sending it to so many brothers that I know that don't always take care of themselves, and some who are trying and don't always know where to get that information from. And I wanted them to see brothers. I wanted them to see their own selves. And you put together this forum, which once again was so beautiful. And I just want to tell you that I love you. I appreciate you. You and I have a very long history, even though I live in Jersey, you're in Harlem, but our paths have crossed so many times over the years. I think this is awesome. I've sent it to Imhotep Gary Bird, and hopefully he'll have you on soon. And then I just you guys covered everything. I'm just so honored. I know I'm the woman here, except for the sister Kima. And thank you for Brother Keith who sent this to me. And what he forgot to add was that I'm the one who started that journey when he was doing Subway sandwiches every day. But anyway, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. And all the best to everyone in their businesses, their products, and your consultations tomorrow. 2022 adds to a 6. Talk to Lloyd Strayhorn, home, health, family, joy. I wish you all the best. That's it.
Thank you, Sister Amani, and have known you for years. You've been so consistent in your health and your journey. From a runner, I remember when you was running with the Gary Knoll team.
Yes. 3 New York City marathons.
And you've been serious about your health and your wellness and representing that for Black women. So respect and thank you for promoting it and then coming here to be present and to share your thoughts and your insights. So again, all of you, I love you all.
And Herman.
Yes.
I had one thing. I'm sorry I came so late. I just want to thank you for taking a young kid and letting me learn under you back to 2006. I appreciate the knowledge I got from you. I love hearing all the positive feedback. I just wanted to add one thing. If not only to relieve stress, but to make this world a better place, I think you should always give back. Do one good thing a day. I know anytime that I'm stressed out, I can make someone happy, whether it's buying them a Dunkin' Donuts or doing something of my time. I think that's something that can not only, again, help you relieve stress, see someone smile, but just to make this world a better place. So that's something I wanted to add. And again, I thank you for all the knowledge that was here. I wish I could have came sooner, but I have kids and everything. And again, I appreciate you taking me as a young child and learning under you. And I always appreciate you. And I guess, just when I'm glad to be a part of this, honored for this. Thank you.
Respect. Thank you. And again, take advantage tomorrow. These experts left their number, 15-minute slots. Do the second half. If you didn't get to get on or ask a question, reach out to one of these experts, one of these professionals, and decode that dilemma as to why you haven't been back in your program, or if you feel you're stagnant in your workout. A trainer can help you decombobulate whatever that entanglement is and get you right back on the path. And a reminder tomorrow, the Swan Song. I really think our Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is going to give a message that's going to be noteworthy and it's going to be impactful for the times. Thank you all. I love you all. And I can't walk you to the door, but you will comfortably show yourselves out.